Untamed is going to be untamed. It's going to be a little crazy. I want to talk to my people. I want to talk to my brothers and sisters. We can have grace and humility in how we interact with other people.
Oh, hot dog, look at you.
And nobody talked about what's really happening.
And let's have conversations about what truth is. What a day, what a day, what a day, what a day. Hey, welcome back. It is Tuesday, January 13th. And man, we got a lot to talk about. We have fraud in Colorado. Again, more fraud, this time tied to Hickenlooper. And we're going to talk about Patrick Byrne. We're going to talk about Venezuela. We have two guests that will join us today. The first does not need an introduction. Vince Lanci's been on several times. He is an economist. His specialty would be precious metals, but frankly, he could talk about markets and geopolitical events. He tries to stay away from politics for the most part, but kind of hard to ignore it when we walked in and picked off $20 trillion in oil. 20 trillion with a T, right? So we just took care of half our budget problem by taking $20 trillion. And you could argue that over the last 20 years of stolen elections, that Venezuela owes us at least $20 trillion. So glad to be able to have that. We're also going to talk about Pam Bondi. Let's just get to the Pam Bondi problem that we know exists, and it's a big problem. It's a big problem because, well, I described it pretty clearly. So before we bring Vince on, by the way, probably one of my favorite guests, and I have him on all the time. Why? Because he's a walking encyclopedia of information. See, I'm an encyclopedia of worthless information. I actually get a lot from him, so I invest in stuff based on some of the things that he tells me, which is good. So he's been right nearly 100% of the time that he's not in disagreement with me. But when he's in disagreement with me, I'm actually the one that always wins. That's like Joe's always right. Except for that one time. So let's do this really quick before we bring him on. This is a post that I put up, and shout out to Peter Berninger. He basically just started digging in. U.S. Senator Hickenlooper caught smurfing $8 million in his campaign committee. He filed a complaint this morning to the FEC against his 3 campaign committees and Treasurer Mark Turnage. Scroll down to the tweet to see the smurfing and other senators and congressmen. So political committees, and he has them listed. Accepted 74,936 Smurf donor transactions, totaling 7,097,372 from 8,392 unique Smurfing donors. These transactions encompass 56.5% of the 132,634 available committee transactions, and also being 25.8% of the $27,471,083 full committee transaction valuation. So this is getting to the bottom of it. Now, we haven't had an appetite by the DOJ to get to the bottom of any of this. And so what I basically said when I saw this post is more fraud from the cartel. And that's, in essence, what we're dealing with right now. I want to full stop something for you. The people are slaves. We are held hostage in this country. State by state, and as a nation, we're held hostage. And we're going to talk a little bit about what's happening with the judiciary, because I think it's important that we understand that we don't live in a free country. Now, we don't live in a constitutional republic. We don't live in a country where the rule of law is the way that we live our lives, because we justify illegal activity every day by the haves. Now, the have-nots have to pay all the consequences and go to jail and have to deal with rotted judiciaries and rotted judges that act as the enforcers for the cartels. Now, the quicker we get to the place where you can realize that this is true, what I'm saying is absolutely true, and I'm gonna ask Vince, I'll ask Adam as well, the same question. But the sooner we get to that place where we can recognize it, then we can start doing things to basically combat it. I've called it the Boston Tea Party on steroids, to eliminate the 56% of taxes that we have, but that's actually not our biggest problem. Our biggest problem is that you don't have a say. And when a part of your government, i.e. the judiciary, is completely unchecked, Like if a judge does something wrong to you, you have to go back to the judges and say, oh, by the way, this is what happened, and hope that the judge that is after that judge in the appeal process recognizes they did something wrong. Well, then you take it through the appeals process all the way up to the Colorado or any state Supreme Court, and that's where it ends. And then you can apply to actually have that case heard by the U.S. Supreme Court. Well, the U.S. Supreme Court takes 0.1% of every case. So I'm going to ask you the question again. What happens when you have an enforcement arm of a cartel that is captured state by state, which is what we deal with right now? What happens when people every single day are disenfranchised, abused, mistreated, persecuted by judges that are getting a kick out of it? And then as it goes up through the process, nothing happens. It gets all the way to the Colorado Supreme Court, and without even telling you why, they go, we deny cert. We're not going to allow you to have any justice, because they protect themselves as a part of this cartel. We're in a cartel government right now. There's no difference between Mexico and the United States. The only thing standing between us having full-blown lawlessness and the ability for them to persecute and do whatever they want to us on the street is Donald J. Trump. So we're going to examine a little bit of that. We're going to talk about what's happening in Venezuela and try to get to the bottom of it. And let me just talk about another judge. This is Patrick Byrne that put this case up. And this happens every day. Look what they did to President Trump. They created a felony environment on President Trump out of thin air. They just made it up. This is what they did to Patrick Byrne. Let's go ahead and put that up. So the original one says, Hunter Biden judge refused to allow my new LA attorney to appear on my behalf today. That makes attorney number 5 that Hunter Biden's pet judge has blocked. That is how they are trying to engineer a default. No notices are sent. My lawyers can't speak. Byrne defaults. Now, what he says above that is, Honorable Stephen V. Wilson, I'm eager to appear in your courtroom at your earliest convenience to address personally the evolutions of this case about which you have professed doubts. I am as eager to go to trial, but you must stop firing my attorneys for me to do that. This is a judge. And if you think that judges in our state and in our country are not captured, they captured it. I'm going to say it again, man, for the guys in the back of the room that don't understand basics. In order to steal people's sovereignty, you have to do it state by state, because the states are independent. They operate with their own independence, right? So you have to use machines that are used to steal elections, and you have to put really bad people in positions of trust and authority, and then you have to continually do that over a couple decades, slowly, so it doesn't look like you're doing what you're doing nefariously in order to steal the sovereignty of a nation. And then you capture state by state, and then your governors and people put people inside of judgeships that have the same bent, evil ideology. And sooner or later, 20 years later, now you have a complete system that is run by fraudulent pieces of trash like this. This isn't the first judge that did this. The judge in D.C. also did it in the Dominion voting system v. Byrne, Patrick Byrne as well. Did that there, fired his attorneys. Because now the judges get to decide not only what information gets in, they get to do ad limine, where they eliminate information, but then they also get to stand in the way of juries and people seeing things by doing default judgments and other things. It is a complete ruse. It's not a real system. And this is what I talk about when you get to a lawless environment. What do the people do? That's why President Trump plucked Maduro out of Venezuela. And what we face now, we're going to have a lot to talk about related to it. And so I put up a post that talked a little bit about this specifically. I said the judiciary is rotted to the core on Patrick's case. Patrick has had this happen in 2 jurisdictions, if I'm correct, D.C. and L.A. The judges are not judges, they are enforcers for the crime family, and that has captured our country. They are improperly and unethically, act improperly and unethically because they have not been checked by the people. But it's coming. I believe it is coming. It absolutely is coming. It has to come. And then that leads me down to, if the rot of the judges is there, does that continue through the rot of the judiciary? So there was a post that was put up about Pam Bondi and the DOJ. And this came from Raw Alert, says President Trump has expressed dissatisfaction and is very unhappy to his aides regarding Pam Bondi's performance. And I really had to address this because it's now become pretty evident. And so this is what I had to say. Pam is a devil in Prada, quite literally. She's over 60 years old and has done everything she can to look 35. I'll let the conspiracy theorists come to the conclusions on how she did that. The reality is, however, she was never for the people and has tried to make deliberate attempts to slow, stall, and destroy President Trump's agenda look like incompetence or mistakes. Think Brutus to Julius Caesar, only worse, because the second in command, Todd Blanche, is even worse. This is what we're dealing with. And I reached out and I put something else up this morning, and I just want to talk about this, then we'll bring in Vince, who's been waiting. And I'm gonna ask him about these things that I put up. And if I can find it, there we go. This is the most difficult post because as a business owner, you understand decisions you make in leadership have lasting effects on the people that work for you. And bad people in leadership can adversely affect revenue. They can affect the directionality of your business, the ethos, how clients interact with you. And our country is it's a large company, okay? It operates like a business. It creates revenue. It also has sticks and carrots that it can actually use at its disposal, both on the domestic side and on the foreign side. So I said this, and I want you to consider this when you think about Pam Bondi specifically. To those that question President Trump's ability to move quickly on what betrayal you see as obvious, have you ever run a business? I mean, have you ever run a business that is successful and had a leadership team pick people to run things and they turn out to be less than stellar? But they talk well, and in the beginning, it's a honeymoon. Over time, though, you make bad decisions, some possibly on purpose, maybe show their true self, and you begin to say to yourself, this is not going to be a good fit. You measure the effect in your mind of making the change, the net negative of ripping out the part of your leadership team. Then you find out the person used to work for your competition, and they're still cozy with a few people that are less than ethical. Now the chess deepens and you begin to understand bad decisions as business erodes. Things become less clear as to motives. Secretly, they build alliances inside your walls to make sure the decision to fire them becomes more difficult. This happened, and yet instead of just being a team of people who are affected and the negative effects of those who bonded with or may see that the person is essential to their success, and yes, this happens too, think class pet. President Trump has an entire country measuring every move. And the competition, bad guys, are invited to the table to have an opinion on his decisions. That is what he's dealing with right now. Pam gets on TV. She pitched the American people on how great she is. She builds alliances with do nothing good, but talk good people like Todd Blanche. She even talks nicely to President Trump in briefings and compliments him. This is how you know, and since I've had to speak kindly about people I knew were devils while planning their exit, I can tell you without a doubt, this is a million times harder in politics when the name of the game is allegiances and alliances, and most of the people playing are dishonest and would slit their own mother's throat if given them more power, if it gave them more power. I said Pam must go, Todd must go, but who takes the place, and how do they make sure the next person is not an establishment betrayer, 2.0? Well, the second he lets it be known, which he just did about Bondi, he now has to contend with the other vipers who are secretly aligned with him. He knows by the reaction to the names given to him for a replacement. This is chess. Only 2.0 will come with, I don't really like that person very much, knowing President Trump will pick one where people are hesitant. So they will play the game. Then that person has to get confirmed, and you have congressional uniparty vipers to contend with who are really glorified lobbyists who do the bidding of the evil almost exclusively on both sides of the aisle. This is why Trump must look at unfamiliar places for a replacement. A Dave Clements, or even someone like John Eastman, or someone as loyal and real as Bob Destro. If you don't know Bob Destro, he was a deputy Secretary of State during President Trump's first term. Very loyal man and has done everything he can when he worked in the North Africa you won't find a better man. You won't find a more committed man than Bob Destro. Go look him up. Anyway you cut it, Trump needs an ally in the DOJ. Right now he has a central casting Judas and Brutus to see who under is trustworthy is nearly impossible. Think clear as mud. Pray because the lion's den is obvious and the president is playing a chess game where even his own pieces are reluctant to be moved on the board and are busy winking at the adversary. This is what we deal with right now. And in actuality, this is what politics have become in our country. And I want to remind you guys all that Julius Caesar was not stabbed by Brutus and betrayed by Brutus. Julius Caesar was stabbed by many people, many of the people that were in his trusted group. And when Julius Caesar turned around, he said, "Et tu, Brutus." It means you too, Brutus. And I think this is what President Trump is dealing with right now. And if he wasn't dealing with that, then he wouldn't have faced a near assassination where they shot him in the ear. That, by the way, cost the lives of an American that day. That was all done to make it look like it was incompetence, but it wasn't. It was purposeful. And they wanted to take out President Trump. They planned it. That's how evil this whole thing is. So with that said, I'm not going to waste a whole lot of time. I want to bring our guest in. Vince, welcome to the show. Oh, you're muted. Sorry about that.
Hey, Joe. Thanks for having me on. I was listening to what you said.
Yeah, what did you think?
I think the part about when you have someone who, having employed people, not at your level, but having employed people, you hire someone, they hit all the right notes, and they start to not work out. And there's a cancer, especially on the finance side, where people look at it from a money perspective only. So maybe you can look at it from a money perspective only, but you hire a person, he doesn't work out, you say, okay, it costs me, let's say I pay them $75,000. And you say, okay, if I would fire them and hire someone else, it would cost me $125,000. So you rationalize keeping a cancer in your environment for that extra $50,000 that you're saving. The problem is you destroy the culture of your business.
Oh,
now,
yeah, absolutely.
I can't even imagine. Then you went on to describe the vipers and the cancer. That, these people make their money. I mean, I didn't realize it that way, but these people make their money betraying others. There's no loyalty. At least in my business, they're loyal to the dollar. Anyway, I'm just saying that it's pretty dangerous firing someone, and I would have to say that I'm a fan of what Trump is doing, largely because I think he's the right man for the job at this point in our nation's career, so to speak. And I do think that even when he gets it perfectly right, he's got obstacles to deal with. So I don't envy the situation that he's in. I don't know the particulars about Pam Bondi, but I do know this, that in his first term, he made mistakes. And those mistakes were entrusting globalist and financialization kind of guys. And they kind of ate him from the inside out, the Goldman Sachs types. This time, he seems to have picked better people on the finance side, like Besant. He wants to replace Powell. But on the AG side, he's having problems now. I mean, it's not easy. It's not an easy job. That's all I can say, right?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. But it's not, the AG is kind of the cog to the wheel. And remember, Pam Bondi got through relatively unscathed through the confirmation process.
Right.
She's 60 years old, spends a lot of time making herself look good. She's been married 3 times. She's been engaged, she's been married twice, engaged, if she's married now, then 3 times. Engaged a 3rd time. She's had commitment issues and loyalty issues throughout her personal life, and that typically carries over to how you handle your normal life. Now, you could argue that President Trump has been married several times as well, and I would tell you that I look at the fruit of the tree. Right, here's a woman that has never had children, and I'm just not sure. I'm not sure that I would have picked her to be the Attorney General. I wouldn't have done it. based on her history. You know, she dating back 25 years ago, she was a Democrat. We could look at what she did, the Trayvon Martin deal in Florida, where she turned a Hispanic man into a white man. She has literally played the fiddle for some of these radical ideologies for the last 20, 25 years. She wouldn't have been a good candidate. Now, I tried to give her support to begin with, but now I'm sitting here back, I'm looking at it going, no, I trust your instincts. And I think if President Trump would have trusted his instincts to begin with and not had people saying, all right, here's your top 3, here's your top 5, he probably would have made a different decision when he was bringing her to the table to begin with.
Do you think he picked her? I mean, I'm not familiar with it. I remember the process. People really liked her, at least in my neck of the woods. But do you think maybe he picked her because he thought he'd be walking a line and he doesn't want to pick a battle over this one? I mean, do you think that's... You talk about a chess game. What I mean is part of his calculus is, I'd rather take a chance with her than with something else.
Yeah, I think that there's a lesser of two evils. And getting people through the process... You know, you saw, here's a couple things that I saw that are key indicators for me. One, how did Kash Patel get through lying on the stand as many times as he did about Stu Peters? A very well-documented lie that he did in front of Congress. That normally would have been excluded him from being the FBI director. He lied. You were easily able to go to the internet, find those videos, and bring it to the forefront. The media ignored it. Normally they wouldn't. Even the leftist media ignored it. So we have Kash Patel that was confirmed to be the FBI director, and look what he did when he got in the FBI. He promoted those people that persecuted J6ers. He, put under the belt what he did with the pipe bomber. He went after Steve Baker, who uncovered the pipe bomber, and then created a fallacy against this other pipe bomber, and then had the DOJ make mistakes so that the pipe bomber that they inaccurately went after was released, right? So the whole process of what we've had in our in this process has been flawed by the idea of, oh, they just made a mistake. Look, people at that level don't make mistakes. They make calculated decisions to look incompetent in order to be forgiven later, while then starting to put other feet forward. Not one person's been arrested, right? And a high school, a first-year law student could have created 50 indictments, 100 indictments, 200 indictments, like that, just based on the information that was publicly available. But she didn't. She did nothing. And you could argue that there's two parts of the government that are at odds and fighting each other. And that would be true. The government is in a battle with itself, right? It's obvious. If you go to D.C., it is literally a war zone behind the scenes, right? That is bloody. At the same time, Vince, she's picking the wrong side while acting like she's trying to do the better good for President Trump. She's done no good, zero. And neither is Todd Blanche. You could argue Todd Blanche is the reason why a lot of things have not been pushed through in policy that were directed specifically by President Trump.
So you get rid of her, him, or I know both is ideal, but do you get rid of the head of the snake or the body of the snake? You're not sure.
Well, keep in mind, these are not even, these are needles in the arsenal. Now, we don't know who the head of the snake is. We haven't figured it out yet. We surmise that it's Obama, or we surmise that it's Soros or these people, but these people are hidden in plain sight. That's the whole idea of who they are. It's like the Coomers of the world when it comes to the election systems. And the same thing can be true when we're talking about policy and politics and how the government runs. Somebody puts their finger on the scale. We haven't figured out who it is yet. I have a feeling that President Trump knows who it is, but he wouldn't be at liberty to say either. Remember, Kennedy, less than 30 days before he started uncovering things and talking about the dismantling of the CIA, was murdered.
Right. I see your point.
Yeah, so I think you have to, frankly, I think you have to look outside the realm. And there's only a few people that I think are qualified to do the job. Only a few. And
you mean to replace? You need to get someone outside the. You got to go outside the circle,
but
the
listen,
beltway.
We have Thune. We have Mike Johnson. We have people that they have just selectively jockeyed to move from one side of the aisle to the other side of the aisle. There is no loyalty inside of the political realm. There's no loyalty. These Republicans and Democrats on both sides are largely selected by groups inside of each nation state. I'll call them a nation state because they operate independently. They're supposed to, right? So a vast majority of our elected leadership are fraudulently put there on both sides of the aisle. It's like boiling the frog. We are definitely in the boil the frog stage, and we're already boiled. Now they're just trying to figure out why we're still alive.
Right. It's true.
I mean, look, this is not, I'm not blackpilling you. What I'm saying is
No.
yeah.
I don't know what to say except. All right, I did let him do what he's doing and not judge the. He doesn't have to get rid of anyone if it's going to bring everyone else out of hiding. You know, if look, it's above my, it's literally above my pay grade. You know, I just have to. I don't want to trust the process, but I do want to think that there's progress coming. But there's so much going on geopolitically that I can't even focus domestically anymore. You know, it's crazy.
Well, the problem is that you want to focus in on what's happening. We're going to talk next about Venezuela. You want to talk about Venezuela, and we want to talk about what the implications of that is. And as soon as that went hot, what else went hot? Iran, right?
Yeah.
As soon as that went hot, nobody's even talking about what's happening in Ukraine and the fact that they've uncovered massive amounts of fraud with the little midget, the Zelensky. I mean, we have, the wheels are off the bus, and we can talk about Stalmer in the UK. Nobody likes that guy. How did he get elected? Right? And we really have to start.
I don't understand how those people get jobs. I don't understand, but okay, yeah.
That's my point. Look, from a competency standpoint, I've now had conversations with three elected leaders. A total of 40 minutes I spent with three of them asking simple questions. How many of the three leaders could answer simple questions that were within their purview? They should have the knowledge. But how many of them do you think I had a coherent conversation with?
Well, I mean, of the three leaders, you should have had a coherent conversation with at least 2/3 of them. But the answer is what? 0? Is that the answer?
Zero. And look, that's giving them a lot of grace. That's asking simple questions that they could have gotten from, even if they were slanted and went to CNN, they could get that information. They could understand what the outcome is of it. So we are not talking about intelligent people. Our leadership, and this is indicative of when elections are stolen, when fraudulent people are put in positions of power, they're not smart. Because they need not smart, weak, pathetic people to be in those positions. President Trump got in.
Because they're having strings pulled by someone else. I get it. Yeah.
Because strong people like me, strong people like you, man, you're not buying me. You're not buying. I'm loyal to the people. I'll go to the mat for the people. But if you get a weak person in there, I mean, we got weak DAs, we got weak AGs, we got weak governors, I mean, look at Tim Walz. For God's sake, nobody would choose that guy. He's a little weasel. Like, he's the guy you're going to drop from the top of the swing set. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the 1970s sliding boards. I remember
he can't even speak, Vince.
I know.
He can't even speak. And the people of Minnesota elected that? Come on, no.
So it's useful idiots. So this is the political fraud, the election fraud. I mean, in a micro scale. I mean, basically, it's useful idiots that are politicians now.
It's the court jester. The court jester has become the people that, and they walk around with such arrogance as if they arrived. And I'm thinking to myself, you're dumber than a rock. Like, you're a retard. Like, bring the R word back just for our elected leadership, just for them. Everyone else is exempt except for the retards. What are they? They're retards. The retards are meeting in Washington again.
I know. Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about President Trump for a minute. Can we? Can we talk about President Trump?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
He reached into a country and he plucked out a leader of a sovereign nation.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like he was eating Skittles.
Right. I know.
And then he said when he was done, they're like, well, what are you going to do with the oil? He goes, I'm going to keep it. $20 trillion in oil. So Vince, is that war? I just gotta know. Does that sound like a war to you? I'm
No, it's
checking
not
with you.
war, Joe. That's not war. That's normal. No, of course it's war. Of course, I mean, not of course. What I mean is, if it's oil, it's war. Okay, you don't go to war over silver. You go to war over oil. And there would have been a war had we not done what we had to do to get that out of there. There are so many things tied to that event. I mean, so many interesting things, with super soldiers and shit like that. But I mean, the fact that we went in there and in one fell swoop, we basically threw a Gadsden flag over North and South America. The whole thing is "Don't tread on me now," or however you'd say that in Spanish. No pisos en me, or something like that. We threw China. I mean, we're in the process of removing. This is from a reliable source on the political side. We're in the process of removing Chinese influence from Latin America, and Venezuela was one step of that. See, China and Russia have been influencing Latin America for over a decade now, primarily China on the natural resource side. And I want to explain, we're at war to basically clean up Latin America and South America. Look, China has been cementing supply chains in Latin America for over 15 years. Oil in Guyana, oil in Venezuela, oil into Trinidad and Tobago, silver in Mexico, silver in Peru, silver in Colombia, copper everywhere that there's copper. And what they're doing is they go in and they say, we'll build a hospital, we'll build a school for you, give us your silver, give us your oil, give us your metal. Now, Venezuela is a special situation because Venezuela has a lot of oil, and you need Russian technology to pull the oil out of the ground for those guys. Now, so what did we do? The United States have been asleep for 50 years on its own supply chains. China came in and co-opted them. China undermined them. China bought them. Yeah. And now, in one fell swoop, we've ejected China. We've made them close off their own doors to silver, and oil's more important here. And we've said to China, yeah, we'll sell you the oil. How about those rare earths that you say that you want to sell us? Are you going to sell us those back? On top of that, that oil that Venezuela exports, who gets that oil? China. Who brings it to them? Russia. We just drove a wedge between Russia and China. I think it's geopolitically probably the best thing he could have done. And of course, we just did it by dropping a couple SEALs or Delta Force down a chimney and plucked him out in front of everyone. Plucked him out in front of who, Joe? In front of the Chinese leaders that were there, right in front of them. So we're at war. I guess that's the answer to your question. We're at war, and it's like we're daring them to make it kinetic. That's what I think.
Well, I mean, we're not even talking about kinetic just in the terms of foreign kinetic. We're talking about domestic. I saw a guy that is completely diabolically opposed to me. His name is Ike, who did a huge conversation with people while he's cleaning his guns, right? Right. And then there's a woman. Do we have that video? Do we have the video of the woman who made the threats? Do we have that? The one where she talks about going and training for guns. Did I send that to you? Did I send it to you? All right, I'm sending it to you right now. Let's tee this up if we can. I just put it in there. This came from Allie. Allie sent it to me and said, hey, we should probably discuss this. But you have people in the United States that are actually firing across the bow, making threats about murdering Americans, MAGAs, right?
Yeah.
They are creating, at some point, based on what we're seeing holistically, and we're going to get to gold and silver and all that stuff too, because I think we should talk about that for sure as far as what's coming next.
I'm here for it.
But President Trump's going to have to sign the Insurrection Act. He's going to have to invoke the Insurrection Act in order to get this straight. I don't see any other choice. You're gonna the courts are rotted, the judiciary is rotted, the judges are all appointed by radicals in 30 states. We have a viper's net where lobbyists basically own all of our leadership at the federal and state level. We have an ideological windstorm. People that are R's are D's, people that are D's are R's. I mean, it's like literally everywhere. And the people are left in the middle of this deal. And now you have massive threats that are being, lobbed against Americans. I mean, the powder kegs is dry and it's lit.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, you want me to comment on that? The only thing I can say is I'm just familiar with the plumbing of it, not the ideology of it. Meaning, for decades, what the Soros-sponsored team did was they replaced judges at the state and local level, and it's kind of like filtering up now, and I mean that's what Doge was about. That's what cleaning Washington up was about, and to the extent that it was successful, there's a lot more to do. If nothing else, though, I think we're going to stop wasting money now. The question is, we may not be able to kill the head of the snake, right? But maybe we can starve the body. And that's probably what we're going to be doing next, I hope.
Vince.
What?
We have people that are not giving up their voter rolls in different states and making us go to court to try and fight them to get their voter rolls. And the voter rolls belong to the people. So even the people can't get access to those. So the people can't get access to the voter rolls, the voter registration information in a state. You have people like the guy in the Secretary of State of Arizona saying, I'm not giving it up. Colorado, California. And then on top of that, we have the massive fraud happening in Minnesota. Doge came in and said, you're spending trillions of dollars, or billions of dollars, excuse me, and nobody got arrested. I mean, nobody got arrested, because it's so pervasive.
I know.
That you can't get to the bottom of it. And so I want to play it. Do we have that video ready? All right, I want to play this for you, and then I want to get to the gold and silver. But I want to cream on the. I want to put a little bit of texture over what we're going to talk about as far as how do people protect themselves. Go ahead and play it.
Good afternoon, Donald Trump. Today I was at the range, and it'll do your heart good to know there was a lot of women there. I was there, not with but with the little one that I carry with me all the time, and I'm going to show you up here a little picture of what I was aiming at today. You mother MAGA might think that we're out here just sitting around wondering what's going to happen. I ain't wondering about shit. I know what's going to happen.
What are you supposed to do to that? I mean, I'm laughing because it's just ridiculous. It's who is she? Who is she other than
Oh, the FBI. The FBI's are going to arrest her. I mean, that's a veiled threat.
Yeah.
Right. So I can talk about the fact that violence is the answer, and I could say that I believe violence is the answer because you can't get rid of evil without pushing it into a hole. And frankly, you can't watch people get raped and murdered, which is happening now all over the country. But there's a real, I have my head on a swivel everywhere I go. I don't let anybody get close to me, right? I was at the airport, and someone went to walk up to me, and I put my hand out, and they're like, Joe, and I was like, don't come any closer. And they're like,
really?
Yeah. So like, hey, Joe, I support you. And I was like, I don't know you. I was like, I'll talk to you from a distance, but so talk to me. Let me look up your social profile while we're sitting here talking, right? So I'm now in that place. I have my show, and there's a gun that sits on the side right next to me, ready and available inside of my building. Like I am fully protected around me, and I have to be because of nutballs like this, right? But it's perpetrated by really bad people in our media. It's perpetrated by people that are our leadership that are planning how they hurt and intimidate the people that they want to keep enslaved, like you and I.
The last time I was here, I think we had a quick conversation about the fact that I said something rude on social media. And did I tell you this part?
Mm-mm.
Right. So, all right. at the beginning of Trump's administration, or I'm sorry, I was the beginning when Elon. Let me just cut to the chase here. I said something that was off color on Twitter, right about the time that Elon Musk had taken over. He hadn't changed the name yet, and I said something about like a Saudi Arabian was going to hack a Japanese diplomat to pieces. It was a complete joke. It should have been seen as a joke. It was. And the next day I had someone knock on my door, and it was, I'm not exaggerating. I got an FBI, he was like 6'5", with a Stamford, Connecticut cop who's like, 5'10". These two guys knock on my door, and I go, hey, what's up? They go, well, did you post, seriously, I mean, like, they give me the business card, FBI. I'm like, FBI, okay, what did I do? Right? Wait. And I go, what did I do? And I had posted something on, at the time it was still Twitter, and it basically said, warning, Japanese diplomat is going to be hacked to death by some Saudi Arabian lunatic, something like that. And I go, why are you here? He goes, well, you said this, right? And he holds his phone up, and he shows it to me, and he goes, yeah, I said that. It's a joke. He goes, would you mind taking it down? Now, I knew not to pick the fight, but I wanted to know what this was about. I wanted him to tell me. And I go, I don't think I mind taking it down, but it's a joke. Why do you care? And he said, and he gave me a nice, had he not done this, I might be in jail. He said, look, he goes, you used a format, which is all caps, and that the all caps format is generally used by news services. He goes, you used a news format, you have like 30,000 people following you, and, well, to be honest with you, somebody was just assassinated in Japan, and so we have to take this seriously. This was like when the prime minister was assassinated.
Yeah.
It was right after that. So I was making a joke combining Salafi jihadists with, Japanese, leaders getting killed. And he's like, well, we have to investigate it. Now, I personally think that they were doing that because they wanted Musk to be in trouble. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I also, and my feed is definitely conservative. And so they probably were like, would you mind taking it down? And I said, well, I don't see why I have to. It's a joke. Everyone knows it's a joke. And he told me the reality of it. He goes, look, someone just got killed, and we're sending people over to the Middle East again now, not for military purposes. He goes, and frankly, we're investigating people to make sure that they're not part of any of this problem. And that's all the bullshit. That's all the bullshit, right? And I go, oh, come on, guys. He goes, look. He goes, if you were in a movie theater and you shouted fire, I could arrest you because I don't know what the terminology is, but you can't shout fire in a movie theater. He goes, you're joking, but I can make your life miserable. How would you mind taking it down? I go, no, I don't mind taking it down. I took it down, and that was it. But he gave me his card and everything. It was a surreal moment, Anyway, they're doing that to me, for mocking an Islamist. Potentially taking a Japanese diplomat's life, and this chick is going out there just saying that shit. Like, what the f is going on out there? Anyway,
well, and it gets worse. It's funny you actually said that. I'm actually wondering why nobody's ever come to visit me. I feel a little left out.
Yeah. Well.
Oh, that's right. Hold on. Hello? Oh, are you there? Okay, I know you're there. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Maybe that's why. I think. Look, it's I wanted to be flattered, but it was about Elon. They were just trying to, because Elon was in the process of throwing all the censors out. It was during that time, the Twitter censors and all that shit. He hadn't renamed it yet, and I think they were just trying to make they were picking on someone like me because I look like a nobody to them, and so there you go. That's why they didn't go after you.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you, but the consequences of what we're dealing with over the last year have led to other things, and this rhetoric that we talk about that they get away with it's problematic because they're actually creating a narrative in people's mind that doesn't exist. Like President Trump is arresting people that are murdering, raping, driving into, committing crimes He's throwing them out of the country.
Right.
My friend Javier literally lives right down the street. Last night, I'm inside of my box at the suite at the watching the hockey game. Avs lost.
Right.
Got beat by a Canadian team, the Toronto. Oh man, I hate it when Canada wins anything because they suck so bad. Sorry, people of Canada that are cool, you're cool, right? But you have to admit your leadership sucks and your hockey team suck. So anyway, I'm walking through the parking lot, and this kid Jacob, who's the parking lot, scans your in the VIP parking, he scans it. And I was like, hey Jacob, how would you like to go into the box and just hang out at the suite with me? And he's like, really? So I gave him 3 tickets. He went and got his brother and his dad, and they came up and watched the game, right?
Nice.
And so, but Javier, I go, Javier, are you worried about they're going to come get you? He's not legal.
Right.
And he goes, no. And I'm like, why? He goes, I've never broken the law.
Right. That's right.
he goes, they don't want me. so go ahead, sorry.
No. And no, I don't really have anything to say except, yeah, people who are on the right side of the law don't really have to worry about it, especially if they're gainfully employed.
Yeah, so that leads me to where we're at. We've seen gold go up, we've seen silver go up, we've seen the markets. I was trying to transition into this because I really want to talk about.
Yeah.
People are like, am I late to the game? Silver's $88, $87, $88 an ounce or something.
Yeah, depending on what country you're in, which we're going to talk about.
Okay, and then you have gold, which is 4,600 right now.
That's right.
And
that's right.
And actually, companies are out there making more money on gold than they are on silver because of the extraction costs, blah blah blah. And so there's all sorts of things happening, but silver is the thing that people are thirsty about. They keep talking about, right?
Yeah. Silver is the. Well, look, gold is money. I've said this before. I'll say it again. Gold is money, but silver is more than money. It's money, and it's being reinstituted as money in the BRICS, but it's also industrial, as you know. The problem with silver is that it is consumed. All the gold is laying around, and you can get the gold. You just have to find the right price for it. You have gold. I want it. I want to buy it. The price has to go high enough. It doesn't get destroyed. The problem with silver is all the silver that's above ground is spoken for, and the miners are not pulling silver out of the ground anymore, at least not at the rate that they should be. And when you combine that with the fact that, well, why don't we just start with Venezuela? Before we deposed, is that the right word? Deposed Maduro? Is that the right word?
Yep.
Okay. Before we deposed Maduro, silver in Shanghai in China was trading at, say, $80. And silver in the U.S. and London, let's just say U.S., was trading at $75. So their silver was $5 higher than our silver. Now, we went into Latin America and throughout Venezuela, and in doing throughout Maduro, and in doing so, we told the world that Latin America is off limits. That's the Monroe Doctrine, the Monroe Doctrine writ large. Now, why did we do that? We certainly don't want any more immigrants. What we want is the resources. Now, I've talked to some sources, and you're asking, the question that you're asking me implicitly is it too late? And I'm telling you now why it's not too late. And the answer is, right now, the United States of America is in the process of securing all the silver ore that it can from Latin America. It's coming in, it's flying in, it's being shipped in, and it's going to be used in the U.S., not sent to China. So the U.S. silver is, today, the U.S. silver is $85. Let's call it, all right? Silver in China is $95. So as the price is rallying, here's the U.S. and here's China. As the price is rallying, China's price is pulling further and further away from ours.
Yes.
And if you're not familiar with what that means, yes.
No, yes. I mean, I'm agreeing with you.
I don't see you. I wanted to see you. if as the price goes up, the differential gets bigger, I'm going to tell you what that means in English. It means that we're getting the silver as it's going up, and the Chinese are struggling to get it. So silver is not the most important metal in the world. It's one of the most important metals. Oil is the most important commodity. So while this was about oil, silver would be the canary in the coal mine, to use a bad metaphor in this respect. So now here we are. We go in, we depose Maduro. The price of silver goes up from 75 to 85 here, and goes from 80 to 95
there,
because they can't get it. So I'm going to throw something at you that the mainstream media is going to talk about, but I'm going to correct it. What you're seeing coming out of Bloomberg and other financial and regular CNN is that China has stopped exporting silver, and they're why it's going up. And I'm going to say that's complete horseshit. That's not what happened. What happened is we kicked China out of Latin American silver and oil and copper, and China reacted by closing down their export routes of silver because we're bleeding them dry now. So the reason I'm saying this is, number one, silver is not done. It's still searching for someone who's going to sell it, and no one is selling it to anyone anymore. And number two, if you're looking for signs that the policy incentives that Trump is implementing are working, well, on the geopolitical scale, they are working. China can't export silver anymore. They can't import silver anymore. The United States, through its banks, J.P. Morgan, Bank of America, is pulling all the ore in Latin America. The Gadsden flag is flying down there. Don't tread on me. And that Venezuelan oil is ours. We're seizing tankers. I mean, I'm concerned about a real war, but before that happens, I want you to know that everything that is coming out of the Trump administration is saying to me, I dare you to f with us on this side of the world. Excuse my French. And we're retaking supply chains, and it has to happen. And as long as I think, I mean, I'll give an opinion here. As long as Taiwan is unresolved, silver goes up, which is a weird thing to combine, but it's not. See, when we declared ownership of Latin America, Taiwan put out a paper. I'm not Taiwan. China put out a paper, and their paper was a reaction to our paper. And their paper said, essentially, it said, if you are declaring Latin America as your territory, then we can do the same thing in Taiwan, and we will if we have to. So as long as Taiwan is still an open-ended problem, then silver goes up. So I think it's going to go to $143 within the next 50 months. Might go that in the next 6 months, but that's what I think. And people
I think it goes to 200 in the next year.
Also, we should have that bet then, right?
We should.
Yeah, I want to be wrong. Don't get me wrong. I want to be wrong. You know what I mean?
I want to be right. What are you talking about?
No. I'm saying if you say $200 in a year, I'll say no, and I hope I'm wrong. Like that's the other side of it. To feed the gods, so to speak.
Yeah.
No, I think if how about this? Here's a silver comment for you. If you think silver's done, if silver were to go to the same price it were in 1980, which was approximately $50, that price is $143.
Yeah.
And is it going to skate it by $50? Of course it will. $200 is on the map. The other thing is, silver's not cheap, but it's not expensive at all. I mean, it may look. You're not going to be able to afford an ounce of gold. You can't afford it. $4,500. Who has that? $5,000 for an ounce of gold.
Of them. But I bought them a lot cheaper when they were a lot cheaper.
No, I know, but my point is, when gold is priced out of everyone's hands, you know, look, am I gonna pay my rent or buy an out? Look, when rent was $850 a month for a New Yorker, an ounce of gold was $300. Now rent is $4,000 a month for a New Yorker, and gold is $4,000. Gold's expensive too for the common man, and that's why silver will continue to get bid up. The higher gold goes, the more silver will trade in line with its natural relationship with gold in the ground, and that's 15-1. On top of that, and here's something that'll make Americans understand. If we're pushing countries out of the influence of the Western Hemisphere. And we're not selling silver and other metals to other countries anymore. And we're building a smelter in the U.S. now. We just announced that.
The only one, the first one, by the way, to be built in 50 years.
50 years. We haven't built a smelter in the United States of America in 50 years, and now we're budgeting for one in Tennessee. What does that mean? That means, if you're not familiar with what a smelter is, a refiner takes metal and makes it shiny. A smelter takes rocks and burns them out until there's just metal left. A smelter is the first stage, and you need a smelter if you're pulling metal out of Latin America. Now, here's your next trade. I mean, I'm not telling you what to do. You got to do your own thing.
Give it to me.
But here's what I'm going to be doing.
PAAS.
I'm trying. What'd you say?
PAAS.
Yeah, I already have them. But I'm looking for something a little bit different on top of my bigger ones now.
Okay.
I believe the United States of America is now looking at smaller, profitable miners that have discovered but untapped metal. Now, there's a lot of financial math to go into this, and it really comes down to this. Who's got good street cred but doesn't have a lot of metal? I think either the United States is going to buy shares in them, a company like Newmont or PAAS will buy shares in them.
Yeah, they're already doing it.
Right,
PAAS is already doing extra. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Or someone's going to be buying these miners. So I'm putting together a list of 10 miners, and I'm going to buy them all. So small miners, and buy them all, because out of those 10, five will be bullshit.
You better share it with me.
I'll share it with you. Absolutely. I'm doing the research now. I will definitely share it with you, Joe. And it'll be 20 miners with 10 that I. But you know what you're doing. So, but it'll be. Look, you buy 10 miners that are small, that have good street cred, but don't have a lot of metal proven. And what'll happen is someone will buy them for the geologists. Someone will buy them for the street cred, and then they'll put them to work. And out of those 10 miners, it's a portfolio of teenies, we used to call it. 5 will do nothing, 1 will go out of business, and 2 will be home runs. And those home runs will be determined by either the U.S. government buying a piece, or a Newmont or PAS buying a piece, or simply a J.P. Morgan saying, you know what, we like them, we're going to buy them. You know, J.P. Morgan buys utilities when they like it, and a miner is a utility. So I like buying silver for a run of $92 over the next 2 weeks, over the next 2 months, $140 over the next 3 years, and which is probably going to happen a lot sooner. And I'm looking to put together a portfolio of small silver miners right now that I think would benefit from the coming vertical consolidation within the industry. So yeah, silver's cheap relative to gold. And unless gold goes down $2,000, silver's not getting cheaper.
Well, and we have to ask the question when we start talking about the silver and gold. It does move downstream to copper, which we in the last year has been up almost 40%. And you know, it's I think $6 an ounce. So the ouncing is different on copper than it is the other two, but it's still $6, right? I mean, that's a that's a big move. Like it was $4.50, right? That's
you know, copper's the first. Okay, silver's going to get the headlines, but copper's the one you want to own because it's not going to be as volatile. Copper, we have plenty of raw copper, plenty of it, but we don't have any smelters. So we sell our raw copper to China. They make refined copper, and then we buy it back from them. No more. That stopped 3 months ago. We're building a smelter. Now, is that bearish for copper? People are like, well, if we're refining more copper, isn't that bearish? No. That's like saying if someone's building a sweater factory, that wool is cheap. They're going to be buying all the wool to make sweaters. They're buying all the ore to make finished silver. No, and copper. The copper thing, I think, is just beginning. Now, I do want to bring something specific about copper up because there is something going on there. The U.S. doesn't have any copper manufacturers, as I just mentioned.
No.
And as a result of that, we're dependent on copper cathodes from other countries, right, for our power. India, right, exactly. Once we get enough of them, we're going to raise a tariff. It's going to be Rule 232. And I don't think it's going to happen yet. In fact, I probably think it's not going to happen in the next 30 days. But down the road, once we get our smelter online, once we get our copper being made domestically, once we onshore and reshore all of our supply, then you're going to see us raise tariffs. Now, why do tariffs matter to the rest of the world? I think this is key for everyone to pay attention to if they want to understand the financial aspect of it. If we say copper is worth $6 a pound,
Right.
and we're going to tariff all copper that comes into the U.S. up to $7 a pound, what we've effectively done is we've told the rest of the world to stop selling your copper unless it's $7 a pound. We've raised the price on global copper by refusing to buy it at anything less than $7 a pound. And we'll buy it at $7 a pound, an ounce here, a ton there. But the rest of the world will now scramble to buy it. And that's because when you're the United States of America and you project dollar pricing in the world, everyone keys off of your price. So if I say to you, like Valentine Set the Price in Trading Places, that movie?
Yeah. Yeah.
If I say to you, copper is no longer $6 a pound, I'm going to pay $7. What am I doing? I'm telling everyone who has copper out there to say, shit, I'm not going to sell my copper to anyone unless it's for $7 a pound. And that's why commodities are going to go a lot higher. You're going to see a tariff of 20% on copper, a tariff of 30% on silver, and copper will be the more orderly one that goes up, the safer one, if you want to look at it that way, because it's not as, copper's more universal, but copper won't appreciate as much either. So you have to pick what you want. I think maybe a good copper miner is the way to go, although I don't know which one I would pick at this point. But there you have it. Copper is the silver for adults, silver for people without a heart condition. That's what I would call it.
Okay, so let's talk about tariffs for a minute.
Sure.
We have a Supreme Court ruling that's due sometime this week. We think it's going to come tomorrow on the tariffs specifically.
Yep.
Are you bullish or bearish?
Oh, right. I mean, I'm in I don't know which type of situation here, trying to look at this geopolitically. If the U.S. government, if the Supreme Court makes the tariffs unconstitutional, well, that screws us. Because then everything has to stop. And it helps China. So
remember what I said about the Vipers?
I know. Well, which, by the way, I'm looking at what happens if he loses. What does Trump do if he loses? He has to go. He went to China on the rare earths a couple months ago after April, and he's like, all right, let's do a 90-day freeze on the rare earths. Give us some rare earths, and we'll negotiate again later on, and that's fine. But if the Supreme Court rules against him, then he's got to go to China hat in hand, and that'll undermine everything that he's working on. So I want the Supreme Court to rule for him. I mean, there's no other way I want this to go. And if they rule for him, then he unleashes everything that needs to be done in the Western Hemisphere. Tariffs on metals, tariffs on oil, giving the finger to China, saying, you want that Venezuelan oil? You can't have it unless you give us rare earths. We're going to tariff oil. We're going to enforce our tariffs on Russia. Look, the whole world changes if the Supreme Court ruling comes down in his favor. So I'm just crossing my fingers. I have an opinion. I know what's best for us.
I know what's best for us, and that's the whole reason why I have trepidation on whether or not they rule for him. President Trump is the CEO of the country. Now, here's the problem we're up against right now. President Trump reached into a country and he plucked out the leader, and he did so with such precision. And there was chatter out there. I mean, a week before it happened, somebody sent me a thing saying, "Joe, we're going to war," right? And then the next day, Elon Musk gets up and says, "Hey, I think that he's going to announce tonight that we're going to war." He got on TV and he talked about a bunch of stuff that had nothing to do with war, frustrated people. But I think it was whether or not there was chatter out there,
right?
So they could figure out if anybody had leaked anything, right?
Beating the grass, yes. Kind of like?
Yeah, kind of moving it around a little bit, say, okay, well, maybe there's nothing to this, right? And then he went into Venezuela and ate Skittles and watched them basically extract a leader of a foreign country like it was Playdate, right?
With China present. They were there. Did you know that?
Yeah.
They were
The Cubans were there. And they were like, bing, 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 bing. And then made them all bleed and throw up everywhere using weapons that, frankly, I think are, I'm worried. I'm worried about some of the weaponry we have.
The sound stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy.
This is the stuff that destroys civilizations.
Yeah.
You know that, right?
I mean, imagine if that got into... I don't know what to think of it yet, except that it's like, oh, it's the new rubber bullet. We'll use that. And
no, it's not the new rubber bullet. It literally ruptures all of your organs. You're dying.
Oh, does it really? Okay, I have no idea. I'm sorry.
They can send something through you that, it's a legitimate deal, right? I mean, if you want to end society, it's basically the equivalent of being able to commit mass genocide without ever firing a bullet.
Oh, so it's not a sound thing? It's like a microwave thing?
It's a sound thing. And it's a microwave.
They can rupture
have
your
the
organs
ability to do
with
both.
sound?
What's that?
They can rupture your organs with sound?
1,000%. Absolutely.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay, hold on.
What is this product? What is this then? What are they doing?
Well, they can make you throw up and they make you do so that it can be less than lethal, which I believe they use less than lethal. And then as Delta Force was coming in, they were like, ping, 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 and finish the job. But you can't shoot back. It's been confirmed that they use weapons that they'd never used before, right?
Right.
Period. And the fact that they did this and distracted a leader. Anyway, let me get back to what I was saying here. I think this is
I'm sorry.
The Supreme Court, remember, in 2020, it was Roberts that said we can't give it to him when he was the Texas v. Pennsylvania, the election case, and said that you had no standing. They made it up and said you didn't have any standing, and nobody talked about the fact that if you're in a state and you don't have standing in a federal election of who's going to oversee the jelly bean jar, then who does? And so we really have to be aware of the fact that we don't have, we're in a lawless environment where most of the people around the entire country have been selected. We are in the middle of, if there was a central casting or a kabuki theater, we're in it, right? Okay. The jester is running the show. And so President Trump is in a very precarious situation. And I always go back to the Julius Caesar moment. If you've ever read Julius Caesar, what happened to Julius Caesar, right? And the fact that it wasn't one person that stabbed him or two people. They basically stabbed him to death, but brought him in order to do it, right? In order to kill him. And so if you wanted to issue the death blow to President Trump in an election year, and if you don't think the Supreme Court, everybody knows about election fraud and the fact they were stolen, they do. There's a lot at stake. There's not a lot at stake. This is literally the Jenga puzzle on the board that if you pull that Jenga puzzle, there's only one way out for President Trump, and that is to sign the Insurrection Act immediately. There is no other way out. The stock market will drop by 10 to 12,000 points. You'll see mass hemorrhaging happen in the financial districts. I believe that tomorrow is the most dangerous day in all of this, and I pray you are right. One way, it resets everything, but Vince, tell me I'm wrong. Tell me tell me at what point what I just said is wrong.
Let me just make sure, because you're saying a lot, right? Let me just think about this. If the tariff, I'm just trying to think of what's the trade. What do I do? What do I buy? No, we know what to buy. But okay, so as an American, if I'm on the left and I want to foil Trump and everything he's doing, I need to stop the tariffs. I stop the tariffs. There's no tax cuts. If there's no tax cuts, there's no cuts of people in Washington. All his agenda of Greenland or whatever he can't do, and I basically probably weaken him compared to Europe as well too. And a lot of the people on the left are very pro-Europe, pro-WEF. So if I do that, I leave him with no choice because it's happening at midterms, and then he'd become a lame duck overnight unless he did the Insurrection Act. So, okay, it's pretty fucked up, Joe. Hope you're wrong.
I didn't say that I knew which way it was going to go. I said
No, I know, but I hope that they don't see it the way that we just analyzed. It's like, oh shit, if they really need to do this, they're backed into a corner. They may do it. Is what I'm worried about.
That's my point. My point is, absent the Insurrection Act, absent the things that I just told you, and look, the fact that we're playing 5D chess, and President Trump has probably thought about this, and so I had somebody that was in government leadership that said, Joe, the reason why people are afraid of you is because you always think like 6 steps ahead, and they're trying to figure out how you thought about those steps to begin with. And I'm thinking, well, I was actually a really good negotiator when I was overseas. Like, I was really good at what I did. And I look at this from that perspective of maximum amount of damage. Like, if you wanted to hit the auto eject button and destroy everything, this is what you do. And the bad part about this is it will put the entire country in a place of mass chaos. Right?
Yep. And he would suffer too. Even more, he would suffer. Yeah.
Which would force his hands in having to sign the Insurrection Act. So you could look at it from both sides. That could then lead to mass arrests, and it could bypass the DOJ. So the things that he can do, which frankly I think he has to do anyway. I don't think he is going to be able to survive getting another AG into that position, because I believe that they've already built their alliances. And what I said previous to you coming on was that Pam Bondi was doing what someone in leadership that's bad would do. And that is ingratiating ourselves and creating these relationships, as fake as they may be, amongst the other people in the cabinet, and that ingrained even the media. I mean, she's the darling of the media. She looks like she's 35 years old. She's got more Botox in her body than I think that they produce in a given day, right? So, but if we look at this from that perspective, President Trump has an uphill battle in order to resolve these things, because she's ink dry.
Pretty somber, pretty sobering, because the more I think about this, the more I think if I was on the left, in general, bureaucrats love to hit a button and have everything get destroyed. They love to do one thing. They're not bottom up. I mean, they may be in their marketing, but top down, they want to they want to pull one lever and have everything fall into place. The Jenga tower analogy that you used. And you know what? If I was on the left and I didn't care, that's what I would do. That's what I would. Basically, they would turn the table over because they can't win the argument.
Well, let's pray that it doesn't happen that way.
I hope not.
Let's pray it doesn't happen that way. But I
think the best we can hope for is it gets kicked down the road.
I agree.
Again.
I agree.
Right? They're not going to say no. They're not going to say yes, I hope. Right? They'll kick it down the road.
If they say yes, he can. The Supreme Court could be responsible for the greatest boom in the history of the United States ever, and probably positions us as a superpower in a place that we've never seen before. Now, superpower meaning that I think President Trump is a peacetime president. He's having to beat evil back into the hole. I don't believe that Russia's evil. I'm sorry, I don't. I cannot see Russia as our enemy. They're an adversary because they have to protect their interests as well for their people. China, I see similarly, and I'm sorry I see it that way, but the parts of China that are using their influence in order to destroy America, I find disgusting, right? But I still have a hard time not saying that we can't coexist, right? In this environment that we're in, right? Because
we're in business.
Right.
We're in business.
We're a business.
I mean, that's the key. The key is if you can accept that Russia did some things that it had to do because of what happened in the 90s with Clinton and NATO pushing eastward, then you can accept, and they can accept, sharing the stage. And I think things will be okay. China I think China's another problem, though. I mean,
I agree with you.
The path back to Russia is going to be easier than the path back to China. I think it's like doesn't it seem like the Republicans need to have a fight with China and the Democrats need to have a fight with Russia lately? I'm getting a little bit tired of it. But anyway, it is what it is.
All right. Vince, I always love having you on. I'm sorry to give you a little bit of the black pill. I wasn't trying to. I was just trying to war game with you in real time so people can understand what the consequences of this could be, right?
No, I think, look, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I think it's very significant that we really might be pointing at a moment over the next 48 hours that could determine Trump's next 2 years and our country's next 10, perhaps. I think it's significant.
I do too.
Thank you for having me.
Vince, how can people follow you?
I have a Substack newsletter that's geopolitical and precious metals in nature called Goldfix, or VBL, Victor Boy Larry Goldfix. That's Substack. That's right there on the right-hand side of your screen. And if you are interested in a little bit more sarcasm and acquired taste, you can find me on X under VBL's Ghost, where I make some off-color comments that make FBI people come to my front door.
Yeah, I follow you. Obviously, it just says I follow you on there.
We're mutuals.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah,
we're mutuals.
You gotta follow. You gotta follow for sure. Hey, thanks for coming on, brother. I look forward to having you back on in the next couple of weeks, and I hope we're talking about like cash money, baby. We're going to Disney World. Let's go.
Well, you're all happy now, but now I'm black-pilled. I have to think about this shit. This is sad. I'm kidding. I'm not.
You're not. I mean, but these are the things that we have to kind of consider, and the American people are always the ones that get left out. So it's sooner or later, people are going to wake up and realize that what is in front of them is that people have enslaved them. And when that happens, man, it's going to be harsh for the people that are in power. If you're on the merry-go-round when that happens and you're acting like you care about the people, God help you. They're gonna Gaddafi you.
Yep. Thanks, Joe.
All right, thanks, brother. Take care. Good to see you. I love Vince. You guys need to go to Goldfix. You need to go check out his work. I read every post that he puts up. And you get a lot of information from it, but you also get his perspective. You can also check out, obviously, his X post. If you're the FBI and you want to check it out too, I think you might learn something from it, because he does have a little bit of humor to kind of texture, color to the way things should be seen in the world. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we have Adam DeRito is going to be joining us, and he's running for Congress, and we're going to talk about the attacks on Adam, the suicide against Adam. And I might bring up the fact that they're playing commercials against me in California. They're playing commercials about me running for governor in California. Why would they be doing that? Maybe we should call it, is it Colorado? Or what are we up against here? Anyway, we'll be right back after this quick break.
In every thread, in every stitch, Honor-Bound USA weaves the fabric of the American spirit. It's not just apparel, it's a testament to God, family, and country. At Honor-Bound USA, we're a family of patriots who put our faith, family, and America first. When you visit our website, you'll find a line of products that embody our commitment to pray, stand, speak, and act.
As the official site for the Untamed podcast, all of our products proclaim speaking the truth with courage.
We also have the powerful documentary from Professor David Clements, Let My People Go. Identify yourself as one of the few who are willing to stand for what they believe in. Join the Honor-Bound USA family today. Wear it as a badge of honor, commitment to the values that shape us, and a pledge to the bright future we will build together. Because when you're honor-bound, you're not just wearing a brand, you're embodying a lifestyle.
Hi, I'm Joe, Supreme Leader of DCF Guns. What is DCF Guns, you ask? We're the best damn gun store and range in the universe. Do we have guns? We have all the guns. We got small guns. We got big guns. We even have beastly guns. We offer all types of training, and we have 5 ranges across our 3 locations. I'm a good shot. And of course, we have all types of ammo. We even have flamethrowers. Woo! We offer incredible membership opportunities, and members save even more on guns, ammo, and accessories. Military, both active and retired, and first responders get up to 40% off memberships. Come join the DCF family today, where we keep the range hot and the deals hotter. It's hot.
Stone. All right, hey, so listen, I have people that I support, and I fancy myself a really good judge of character. And I want to say this, people like, Joe, you spent 3 years with Mike and he took a bunch of money from you. Well, he didn't really take money from me. He borrowed money from me, he didn't pay it back. But he's going to pay me back. I truly believe that. And he's running for governor now. I did send Mike Lindell a text that said, Mike, I hope you win. And he's like, I hope you win too. And obviously I'm running for governor, and people are like, Joe, you go too slow. Like, I want to, where's your website? Where's all your stuff? And I'm like, guys, listen to me. It's primary season. I'm going to walk down slowly. I already told you who I really want to make sure that I position myself well in front of, and that is the people who are the zeros and the ones. Zeros and ones don't mean that they're insignificant. It means they're seen as insignificant. And so when I was meeting with Adam DeRito before, here's a guy that stood up, and he was a part of something that happened at the Air Force Academy years ago. This is, man, 16 years ago? Long time ago. And so they took that and they turned it into something it wasn't. And people have slandered him up one side and down the other. And here's the great part about Adam. I'm like, Adam, I already know. Like, I had already had a conversation with someone who was in a position of leadership at the Air Force Academy. I know that you've been railroaded. I got it. But he didn't stop there. Adam sent me, he goes, you know what they haven't seen? They haven't seen this. And he sent me his entire file. He didn't redact one piece of it. He didn't take anything out. He didn't try to explain anything. He had demerits. He had shit he did wrong. And I was like, that's kind of a knucklehead thing to do, Adam. Like, what? I could have said that, right? But what do you do when you're a 20-year-old kid full of piss and vinegar going to one of the most prestigious military academies in the country, if not the world? You're going to screw up, especially when you're edgy and you don't, that authority thing, like you question bad authority. And he does. He questions bad authority. He doesn't put up with anybody's crap. So I will tell you this. We're going to bring him on. We got a lot of things to talk about with him. I want to talk about his campaign. But they've done everything they can to say that he's a bad guy. And I can tell you that I've gone through all the information that they've created, and it's just not true. And they've done this to other people too. They did it to Darcy out of Colorado. And I got a phone call last week because Darcy's helping me with my governor campaign. And they're like, oh, Joe, you need to steer clear of Darcy. And I was like, I will not steer clear of Darcy. Well, you know what she did? You know, she has a criminal record from 20 years ago. And I was like, oh, okay. All right. Is that it? Is that all you got? Well, you know, she didn't do what we asked her to do here. And I was like, listen, I'm not going to play this game. You don't get to call me up and tell me someone's bad. You get to present your evidence if you have any, and if you don't, then it's just hearsay. It's just you trying to do what you guys do, which is create these little high school drama clubs. That's not the way that I operate. Now, if you're a pedophile, you can't be around me. I'm out. If you do stuff to hurt other people, hurt children, hurt women, you can't be around me. I'll cut you off quick. When you make accusations against people, you better have something to back it up. And the one thing that we need inside the GOP or inside of our society at large, the one thing we need is unity of purpose. Like, what is going to make our lives better? What's going to give our kids more opportunity? And we don't have that. We have the Democrat, the D's and the R's, and an R can now just say, I'm switching parties, becoming I was a D, now I'm becoming an R, I'm an R, I'm becoming a D. No, you were always that way. And it's easy to infiltrate a different party when the only thing you're focused on is yourself. That's the problem that we have inside of politics, is that politics is never about the people. They don't give a shit about it. So the zeros and ones, Adam's going to concentrate on the zeros and ones too. And he's running for CD8. So with that said, Adam, welcome to the show and your run for Congress.
Yeah, and Joe, thanks for bringing me on the show again. It's an absolute pleasure, and thanks for backing me up on this stuff. I mean, like I said, something happened 16, 20 years ago, and a lot of people just don't understand what actually happened there, because also 90% of the files, like the stuff I send you, is not on the internet, because it's got private information about victims and assault victims and stuff. And a lot of those people moved on with their lives. They have kids now, and even my best friends from the academy, they'll never come on my podcast because they're like, dude, look what they did to you. I'm not risking that. Yeah. And
this is why I say we pick sides and we act like school children.
Yeah.
And you can't, if you don't get to a place where you can figure out what the outcome is, right? You find yourself trying to pick and choose, okay, who's bad, who's good. It's like the whole Q deal, and in our movement, this idea that, oh, I have to get on the Mike Flynn deal, or I got to get on this deal, and this one hates this one, and oh, you're the reason why Tina Peters and they just make it up.
Well, yeah, I mean, absolute power corrupts absolutely, right? And this is something I saw at the academy, where there's some very, very powerful people at the academy, even back when I was there. And if you go against the system that protects them, they're going to destroy you. And it wasn't just me. I mean, this is the reason I got involved in politics is because these are the people that I've been defending for over a decade. Anyone who goes against the academy or trying to do the right thing. And I've helped some people. I'm still working on cases now. And that's one of the reasons I decided to run for Congress, is because I went to all of them. Doug Lamborn, Ken Buck, all our current representatives now. And none of them will go against the academy. And we thought you had a little bit of hope when Charlie Kirk got assigned to be on the board of visitors for the Air Force Academy, because we had like a little connection there. And unfortunately, he was assassinated. So it's like, oh, we lost our venue to get into the academies, and this isn't just an Air Force Academy issue. This is West Point, Annapolis, and military-wide. That's why I wrote the Military Mental Health Justice and Protection Act.
But they went after you with all this stuff, and it's really important that I put this out there.
Yeah.
And they kept using these same words, right? So these words are, I'm bringing the receipts. I'm bringing the receipts. I'm bringing the receipts. So I read through all of it, and you'd see people comment that those were receipts, and I was like, those aren't receipts.
No.
That's not real. You bring up a news article by someone or something that somebody else says, and you say that that's receipts. I'm here to tell everyone in Colorado specifically, if you have a problem with Adam, pick up the phone and call me, because I'll walk through it with you. I won't share the information he shared with me. He didn't have to share that information with me. But I will say this, it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. It's not partially bullshit, it's absolute bullshit. Now, will Adam rub you wrong? Yes, 1,000%. I promise you. If you spend enough time with Adam, he will rub you wrong. I got a friend of mine, Jake Frejo. Jake worked for Project Veritas. He is my friend. That last night, I had to tell him to shut his mouth. I'm like, just stop talking. Just please do me a favor. Stop talking before I get mad at you.
Well, I mean, this is actually what Tommy and I talked about this morning, is that we're just done with cowardice in Congress.
Yeah.
We need people who are actually going to stand up and fight for people. And like I said, one of the biggest reasons I'm running now is because my refinery might close down. They're in strike talks right now. And this is the only refinery in the state of Colorado. That's the last job I have. Every single company I've worked for in the state of Colorado in oil and gas has closed down. They are gone. They sold off all their assets. And they pushed us to a point where we got to fight for what's left. And I'll go to bat for my Hispanic guys that I work with every day. Like I said, I'm the minority in my job. And even they said, DeRito, you got to go fight first because no one else is. And we gave Gabe Evans the opportunity to do it, and he threw us under the bus. So what are you gonna expect when the people want to stand up and fight for their jobs and their livelihoods?
Well, Adam, let's talk about the thing that's close and dear to my heart, and that is the election systems in Colorado.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that your expectations in running, and I'm not gonna put words in your mouth, you're welcome to tell me what you think, but I think that the expectation in Colorado is that nobody wins unless President Trump does the job that needs to be done to get rid of machines and mail-in ballots.
100%. And that's probably one of the best reasons why we invaded Venezuela and took their president, because at least we have an access backdoor now to the Dominion systems now, because they were the ones running all the software, right? And we can only hope that he pushes his initiative, which I think he announced yesterday, which is no more mail-in ballots, in-person voting with voter ID. I don't understand what the problem to that is.
And no machines.
Yeah, no machines.
No machines.
It should be a national holiday. I hope that's the next thing he does, is make it a federal holiday.
Yeah, so this is where we get in like places like Colorado, where we're starting to build a fraternity of people, and people are like, Joe, how can we help you? And I was like, don't help me. Volunteer to be a part of the process. Make sure that you are at your precinct, that you're paying attention, you're recording if you can, you are making sure that you're collecting names. We're building a funnel to allow people to say, okay, if we go through this process and we get rid of everything, you still have to contend with fraud. You still have to contend with them creating ballots out of nowhere. You got to have counters at the doors so we know how many people are coming through the door. We got to make sure that our poll books are tight and right. I mean, there's a lot that goes into this, right?
Oh, absolutely. And the other thing, too, is we have caucus coming up now, too. We have the precinct committee people. We have the district captains. Actually, I was asked to step down as district captain for a period of time because I'm running, even though it's not in the bylaws. But the problem is they also don't get that information out. I mean, what determines who's on the ballot, if you're going through the state assembly system, are those people. But it's such like a closed-door club system, you know, and it's hard. If you haven't been in the system for 20, 30 years, understand it. Like, people just get confused. They just think, oh, whoever's on the ballot when they mail it to my house is who I'm going to vote for. But there's a whole process that comes before that, and that gives you the best chance to win governor as well, is having people understand that process and get involved. And we can't just have people sitting by and doing nothing in the state of Colorado anymore. You can't just sit there and yell at the TV like the Leonardo DiCaprio meme and just saying, oh, I saw that coming, right? You have to be involved. You have to be a citizen. You just can't be a resident standing by and hoping for the best.
Yeah, so this is where we get into fertile ground, right? You have, I was just looking at, I put that post up. Go ahead and put this up if you would. This is a post that was put up by someone, by Jasmine Crockett. She puts it up. And she said, what is actually going to take for the Americans to rise up? What is it actually going to take for Americans to finally rise up? How much worse does this have to get?
I mean, I don't understand. Is like, yeah, you have to participate. And to be fair, I'm not a huge fan of Jasmine Crockett. I mean, watching her talk in Congress is I'd rather eat sand.
But what I'm saying is that she's doing this on the side of having some sort of resistance rise up and basically commit sedition.
Yeah, we can't do that either.
America.
We saw it happen with Senator Kelly, right? You can't just orchestrate within the military to have a coup.
Nobody arrested him.
Yeah,
is it not a violation of
you can't do that. When you are, especially when you have retirement from the DOD/DOW, you cannot still work against the government getting a paycheck from the United States government. You can't do that.
Now, anywhere else you would actually be court-martialed. You would be brought back into a military court. You would be tried. I don't know if it would rise to the level of treason, but it would definitely rise to the level of attempted sedition or something to that effect.
Yep, and they can derank you, they can take your pay, and they're fully within their rights to do that. And I try to remind people of that every day. It's like, you know, when you decide to put the cloth of this country on your body, it stays with you forever. You know, and I've seen privates and sergeants and cadets just have their lives destroyed over way less things. Way less things.
How about the guy that took a picture of a submarine wall?
Yeah.
Got 8 years.
Yep, in prison.
Right? 8 years in prison. You guys are like, no, that didn't happen.
Yeah,
it did happen. Like we talked about this. You have entire servers. That's why I call them the haves and the have-nots.
Yeah.
And look, here's the thing that Adam, that I want to get to specifically. Have-nots. Like, there are a lot of poor people in the state of Colorado.
Yeah.
A lot.
There are. I mean, look at the water project that just failed down south, which I have a lot to say about that, because, I mean, people want to say it was over Lauren Boebert voting for the Epstein files and, you know, the Tina Peters thing. And the problem, what I hate about Colorado politics is that they draw on low information voters with like very simplistic things, but they're not diving into the actual kinetics of what that bill was. There's a reason why that pipeline hasn't been completed since 1962. And I'm a water industrial expert. This is my job. I actually rewrote the bill for Lauren, and I wrote it as a Substack, and I kind of tagged everybody in it. And I said, if you really want to pass this bill and you really want to fix this issue, this is how you do it. And it's actually utilizing the money to build industrial level treatment plants and shortening the transportation time. Because even if you transported that water to the south west side or east side of Colorado, you still have to treat it and desalinate it and reduce the nucleotides, and that requires an entire filtration process. So you're just talking about the transportation issue. You're not talking about the treatment issue, which actually will get people sick if you don't do it. So
you're talking about brackishness of the water and actually pulling the water and filtering that water out.
Yeah, if we're going to spend money, let's spend money on actually an industrial-sized treatment plant, improving Colorado's infrastructure. That will be a long-term solution. That's not putting Coloradans in debt for another 75 to 100 years, which is what the current bill said. You're building pipeline at over $1 million a mile. Stop, something's wrong.
Just so you know, it doesn't cost $1 million a mile to build a pipeline.
No.
I'll be very clear.
No.
And what that really means, if you're talking about that pipeline at $1 million a mile, is that one person is putting a lot of money in their pocket.
Yes.
And which means that there's lobbying going on, which means the congressmen in that environment are then owned by people that don't represent the people.
100%. And one thing I even told your counterpart outside is, if you ever see Congress and Senate unanimously agree on something, that's your automatic indicator that something's wrong, because they've packed that bill with so much pork and wasted taxpayer dollars that, like I said, President Trump was right to cancel that project for that reason.
Well, there's more too than just that project. It's not that's not the bigger issue. It's how they positioned it, as if the people in the Eastern Plains are basically dying of lack of water.
Yeah.
It's not true.
No.
It's a resource issue in order to fill downstream pipelines for the big conglomerates that deliver that water.
Yeah, exactly.
So nobody really understands. And this is why people say stuff to me like, oh, that killed the water project. And I was like, oh yeah, it's terrible.
It's like, understand what's going on. Like I said, be an informed voter. Know what you're talking about. And like I said, if you have questions about this stuff, feel free to reach out and ask me. I mean, like I said, this is literally my job. I'm a licensed water operator in the state of Colorado. This is what I do for a living.
You're also still in the military.
I am. I'm a captain in civil affairs down at Fort Carson.
Okay, so this is the other part about them attacking your character. They have honed in on something that happened 16, 17 years ago. And it really didn't happen. And what didn't happen the way they thought that they said it happened.
Correct.
And then they said that they've talked to someone, that person pinky swore that this all happened a couple years after you left. And I'm like, okay. So again, I have to pick up the phone and I have to be like, ring, ring. Hey, tell me about DeRito, not the cheesy ones, the DeRito, Adam DeRito. And I hear straight from the horse's mouth, these are some of the things that I recall based on that. So I call you and I'm like, what the hell's wrong with these people? And then they call me and they're like, Joe, you don't understand. Bar, 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 bar. I was like, I understand that if there's smoke, there's fire. So you're attacking Adam, and frankly, he's close to ground zero, you're not.
And like I said, there's a lot of things I don't talk about my case. Like if you want to know, like when I publish the book, you can read about, there's more details in there that I can reveal. But the thing is that I promise you, the United States military and Special Operations Command, who I've worked with my entire post-academy career, would not authorize the security clearance that I have in the unit that I work with, because I'm telling, they know everything. They went through every little detail about everything that had happened at the academy, and even the investigators agreed that this was BS, and this was just a railroading project in order to protect some high-ranking officers. And that's what it was.
And you fought through it. More normal people just bail out, be like, I'm out. Get me out of the military, and they just try to run from it. You never ran from it, Adam.
No, people think I'm crazy that I'm still in the military. They're like, dude, if whatever happened to you happened to me, I would never be serving.
Well, so yesterday we had on two military, long-term career military officers. We had Colonel, what's wrong with me? Towner. And we had Brigadier General Holt. And they'd spent combined over 50 years in the military and serving this country. And the stories they told were similar to what you're talking about. There are certain parts of the apparatus that are rotted to the core.
Yeah.
But if you didn't stay in, the only thing that would be left is the rot inside of that apparatus.
It's actually one of the reasons I stayed in. I love my younger enlisted guys and my younger junior officers, and I want to make sure that what happened to me never happens to anyone ever again. and I will protect them as much as I can to make sure that they're trained properly, that they're ready for the next conventional war that we're getting ready to go to, and really understand that what service means to this country versus getting wrapped up into the politics of the military and just being a yes man, because yes men are what get people killed. And we've seen that through the entire global war on terror, through Iraq and Afghanistan, with people just acquiescing to the system and not doing the right thing. And I can't idly stand by and watch that happen again if I'm still able to serve and stop it.
Okay, let's talk about your platform.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm in the airborne, right? I'm still a paratrooper, so we call it the 5 points of performance, right? So number one for me is bold governance, right? Actually doing your job, stopping illegal immigration, removing the illegals from this country, stopping the transgender surgeries of children, actually standing by what the American values are and legislating on those factors. Number two is energy independence. My second main focus is bringing all those jobs that we lost back to Colorado, using Trump's emergency energy declaration to override insane state environmental statutes that mean absolutely nothing, and actually bringing those six-figure jobs back so kids don't have to put themselves in debt going to a college they don't even have a job for. They can go spin a pipe wrench, earn a lot of money, and really take care of their families. Number three is American agriculture. I need to bring solace back to these farmers and ranchers who've been suffering really bad. I mean, I just went to a meeting up in Gallatin a couple weeks ago where we've lost over 50,000 head of cattle, and not a single legislator was there to care about these guys losing their livelihood and millions of dollars in American grown beef, and now we're subsidizing it with foreign beef here at one of the largest slaughterhouses in the state because these ranchers don't even have enough cattle to produce what they need because they've lost so much, and it's not worth it to them to regenerate because they can't even sell what they have. And number four is going to be veterans. I want to take care of the 35,000 veterans in CD8. They have to drive an hour to Cheyenne or an hour to Denver with a small clinic in the middle. And I want to reduce their wait times. I want to get them community care letters so they can actually get taken care of. It's just something that really bothers me, that when I go to a representative and ask, even for myself, veterans need help, we need this issue. And they always say, we're here for the veterans, we're here for the oil and gas workers, we're here for the farmers and ranchers, and then they do absolutely nothing when they get to Congress.
Adam, it's the same thing when they say they're here for the people.
Yeah.
I mean, we have opportunity deserts, we have education deserts, and we have food deserts. We have those that actually exist in the state of Colorado.
Yes, we do.
In some of the poorest communities. If you go down, if you go down to Walsenburg, okay, which I think that is CD8.
It's like off a little bit more to the right. It might be in CD4, but yeah.
Okay, so if you go down to, I'll use Walsenburg as an example. It's a food desert.
Yeah.
It's a food desert. And you'd say, no, they have a place there. It's one of the poorest places in all of Colorado, right? Go in there and try to walk into a school. Because I did. Go in there and have conversations with people on the street, because I did. And I only did it because, I travel up there to go hunting. I travel down there to go hunting. And I'm always fascinated by different people that are in small towns. So I'll sit and talk to people. The have and the have-nots in that town is like 90% have-not, completely invisible. You'll see kids walk into school in the middle of the wintertime, that are wearing clothes that they shouldn't be wearing. Yeah. Right? Do you think any of those people even have a clue? Do you think they even think that they are even thought about?
No, absolutely not. And these are the people I'm trying to fight for. Like in CD8, it's pretty bad too. You go to Commerce City, some of the areas of Thornton, and all these people want to do is just take care of their families and make sure they have a job and go to work and pay their bills. They don't participate in politics.
CD4's up. You're right. CD4.
Yeah.
My map was reversed.
And this is the people I want to fight for, because to be fair, for a long time, I was one of them. People like to famously say in the Weld County side, this nobody came out of nowhere. Well, when my property taxes went up, I just started Googling and finding some of these meetings to show up, and I started asking questions. I was perfectly happy sitting and going to work every day, jumping on the rigs, jumping on the frac trucks. But when my jobs were going away and we're getting laid off and we're getting transferred out of state, you got to start asking questions. So no, I'm not a nobody. I'm just a constituent that started to pay attention, and we need more people to do that. But I really feel for these people in these communities, and that's why the fifth part of my campaign is transparency. If you call my office, you're going to get a phone call back from me or one of my staffers. You're going to get a handwritten letter, something, because I am sick of people being ignored by these congressmen and congresswomen in this state, where the only time they care about them is when you're giving them money and for the 4 or 5 months when they're campaigning.
All right, so let me ask you about that transparency appeal, because this is really important to me. One of the things that I keep hearing from and by the way, I don't care about Democrat or Republican.
Yeah.
Frankly, it's a uniparty slugfest down there.
It is.
They don't care about the people. There's never a time that all right, if you were the people, would you be like, you know what I need? They're going to go to you, Adam, do me a favor, can I have more tollways? Adam, can you double my property tax again for me,
sure.
Adam? Adam, I was thinking that I wanted to pay more taxes on my food, Adam.
Mm-hmm.
Adam, why are you not listening to me? I need another tollway. And it's too cheap to go to DIA. It cost me $15 to go 20 miles. I need it to be $100, Adam. Will you take care of that for me? And by the way, do me a favor and hand all of that over to an Australian private equity firm and give them $30-40 million a month, Adam. Can you do that for me, Adam?
Yeah, it's insanity that the people in Colorado have allowed this to happen, right? I mean, like,
But they haven't. Stolen elections. Lobbyists
know.
own them.
yeah, it's insanity to me. And it's how I said, like, I'm just a normal blue collar guy. I'm in a union, man. I'm nobody special.
I don't like unions.
You know what I mean? Well, I'm in the steelworkers union and I love those guys. But it's for the most part, it's just like we actually have to elect people into office that actually care and actually want to change the system. We
I
just
like
have to do it.
steelworkers union because, you know, my family did steel back in the day, but teachers union.
I have some issues with the teachers unions.
just a small.
No.
Just a small.
Let me critical infrastructure unions are where my heart is, right? My steel workers, electrical workers, pipe fitters, welders, you know, all the guys I work with. I mean, because they keep Colorado running and warm. We do. That's our job to do
But
it.
they deregged all the trade schools.
Yeah, right.
And
And that's
made it
something I want to
impossible.
bring back. I need to
Right?
bring back the trade schools,
So
especially
this
in
is-
Commerce City.
This is crazy. The average plumber makes like $300 an hour.
I know.
Right?
And we pay it.
And we we're like, thank you, Daddy. Can I have another? I'm going to dig you a hole. That'll be $3,000. What? But
Here's the thing. If we don't start training the next greatest generation of Americans to do these things, who's going to do it in the next 10 to 20 years?
Right.
These kids
AI is going to do it.
These kids are ambitious, man. I get a lot of young people coming to my meet and greets, and they're just like, I want to do this work. I want to wear steel-toe boots. You know, I want to have a nice, sweet truck like you do, and doing all this stuff. You know what I mean? And you don't need to go to college and be a white-collar worker to do it. There's a lot of pride in that rugged
You don't need to go to
Americanism.
college to be a white-collar person. To do tech. You don't. Look. Here's my problem with the college. I learned a long time ago that books are your friend. So I would go to, I've probably been to, in the last 25 years, I go to at least 120 seminars, schools. Stanford would have a program where they deal with data. I'd go to it. Harvard would have one dealing with how to commercialize information in order to understand what a person looks like. I'd go to it. I would go to all these. I would read books as many books as I can. If you can get it from a book without a professor telling you what's going on and apply it to your real world, that's how you actually learn.
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
And the people that work inside my company, I have guys that started with me at 18, still with me.
Yeah.
10 years later, still here, right? And I put them up against anyone that graduated from any Ivy League school.
Well, and that's why we have to encourage that rugged individualism and not the warmth of collectivism that Mondani keeps spouting.
Oh my gosh.
Right? Like, it's okay to be a rugged American. Like, did you see, I don't know if you've seen that most recent picture that's been kind of going viral on the internet of the cowboy riding across the plains and then a B-2 bomber in the back. If there's nothing, an explanation of what America is, it's right there. Rugged individual cowboys spreading through the West and this technological marvel that's flying through the sky that could destroy any country in about 34 hours. I mean, that's what our country is. That's what we were built upon, and we need to get back to that and give these kids hope because affordability is a major issue for these people. The young kids that show up to my meet and greets, they can't afford anything right now. They're looking for anyone who's going to try to help them, and we just can't keep telling them the same old lies and stories that the old politicians have, and it's just time to remove them.
So let me ask you a few questions. You're going up against Gabe Evans. He was not my favorite when he ran 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And most of the reason why these people are not my favorites is because they're weak. And we just got them talking about weak leadership and the fact that they're chosen for that because they're
Cowardice of Congress.
dumber than rocks. And I've sat and had conversations with lots of Congress people, and I spoke to 3, specifically, spent about 40 minutes with the three, collectively with the three, and couldn't have a coherent conversation. I couldn't have this conversation with them.
No, you can't.
Why is that? Why are we dealing with people who are so surface level together, and yet can't hold a conversation about logic?
Honestly, it's our fault. We allowed them to be elected. You know, when people are telling me that, when people are telling me that, you know, well, 12 years ago I did X, Y, Z, and this is why you should vote for me. I don't care what you did 15 years ago. I care about what you're doing now. What are the impacts you're having on the community now? And they listen to these consultants, and they pick their 3 talking points, and then that's all they can stick to. They can't think outside the box. They don't have real world experiences. I mean, like I said, you know, the first time we talked, I grew up as a firefighter and EMT, like doing all this crazy stuff in my hometown as a young kid. You know, I didn't have it easy growing up, but like all those good experiences and bad experiences shaped who I am. And that's why we need to elect more real, genuine Americans to represent us. And I think that's what the founding fathers initially wanted us to do. But we've gotten so passively acceptable to these people that we elect that can only speak on 3 different things. If you ask them anything else out of that, their staffer walks in front of you and says, this interview's over, and cuts them off. I want to elect people that we can have conversations with, and I think I'm one of them.
Nothing should be off limits.
Nothing, ever.
I mean, you should be able to have a conversation with people in your community. I mean, it is so, people ask me questions all the time, and some of them I'm like, that's a weird question. All right, I'll answer it.
Yeah, I do it all the time. I love it. I just love talking to real people. Like you said.
Stop making sense.
Yeah, it's just, I love talking to real people. That's what I love the most about meet and greets, is like I talk to people from a whole spectrum of experiences and work experiences and life experiences, and like those are the people I'm fighting for. I'm not fighting for the collective failure.
All right. What are you going to do? Let's talk about the DeRito Act. It's aimed to protect service members from retaliation.
Yeah.
And to look at improving military mental health accountability. Now,
yeah,
I have worked with the Special Forces Foundation. I have worked with American Military Family, which, by the way, has...
Love them. I love Debbie. She's great.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
Both Debbies are amazing. Both organizations. And I'm going to tell you, my heart, I have so many military friends. I've got so many friends that are, Special Forces, combat, that have seen the sharp stick.
Yeah.
Right? And I also recognize that I've been called. At least once a month I get a phone call. I'm not good. Where are you? Here. Okay, I'll be there in, one's in South Carolina. I'll be there in 5 hours. I look at thing, I make a phone call, I get on a plane, boom, I'm there, right? At least once a month I am in front of a soldier. I always have the same question. How do we get you some resources at the VA? And I always get the same answer. I tried.
Right, and the VA is failing on this. That's why, like I said, the fourth part of my project is veterans. But so the DeRito Act, in short, it's called the Military Mental Health Justice and Protection Act. And this not only protects service academy kids, but it also protects military members service-wide. Because the one loophole that commanders have in the Uniform Code of Military Justice is something called the Command-Directed Evaluation. Your commander doesn't have to be a doctor, but they can order a doctor to put things in your medical records without your knowledge. If they deem you a threat, if they don't like you, if you reported them for misconduct and they say you're crazy, which is what they did to me at the academy, right? And I didn't find that out for several years when I applied to be a helicopter pilot in the Army in 2017, right? Black and white, they falsified my records. I never saw this doctor. Don't even know who Kristen Nicole Henley Price is. To this day, don't know who this lady is, right? And the fact that I found out I wasn't the only one, and that's why I've spent over 10 years of my life fighting this issue, is because I found out that if you go against the grain, if your commander doesn't like you, if your wife or even your husband calls your commander and says something about you, they can do a command-directed evaluation to force you to have mental diagnoses unbeknownst to you, and it'll end your career, it'll ruin your life, it'll pull your security clearances, all this stuff. And that's what they tried to do to me. It didn't work because I obviously fought and beat them. But then I come to find out when I went to the 10th District Court of Appeals, right below the Supreme Court, I am the only person that I know of in U.S. military history to take a Federal Service Academy this high in court, where they said, Mr. DeRito, we agree, your constitutional rights were violated. But under Parker versus Levy, The military is a separate society and should be treated as such, and therefore we cannot tell the military what to do, even though your rights were violated. So this is what we're trying to change. I'm trying to change that one line in the Uniform Code of Military Justice. And big picture, I would love to get Parker versus Levy overturned as well, but that requires some more campaign contributions to do that.
Yeah.
But that's the issue. And it didn't just affect me. I'm just the only one willing to wear the plate carrier and fight these high-level officers and high-ranking people in our Congress and our representatives to change this. And then you wonder, why doesn't anyone want to change this? Why are they fighting me so hard? Right? It doesn't make any sense. Then you come to find out that there's a lot of money involved. NCAA Division I sports is a huge moneymaker for these academies. And you go against that system and where they look at every single superintendent from the Air Force Academy. They all retire and then they go to the Mountain West Conference Football Selection Championship.
Yeah.
Right? And then they go and then they become the CEO of the Association of Graduates.
I mean, it's a huge grift.
It's a huge grift.
But it's okay. I mean, grifts are okay when you're getting, you're getting some benefit to years of service. I don't have to agree with it or dislike it or like it, but I mean, look,
when you're ruining people's careers and their lives that's a
problem. But I mean, there are good people that have gone on to. Sure. I have a friend that went on to go work for.
But even like General
NCAA.
Flynn, like I know General Flynn, love General Flynn.
Yeah.
I think he's done a lot of great things. But he's used his platform and his benefits of serving as a general officer to benefit the American people.
Right.
And I think we need to focus on that.
I agree with that. I agree with that fully. I can't disagree with that. Let's talk about running in a competitive district against Gabe Evans, who was endorsed by President Trump.
Yeah.
Now, two things. Are you going to go try and get President Trump's endorsement?
Well, if he wants to give it to me, I'll take it from him. But I think the way
careful.
The problem.
Hold on a second. Time out. I'm gonna give him a redo real quick. There's only one way you should answer this question, and it should only take one word. Now, let me ask the question again. You're in a competitive district with Gabe Evans.
Yeah.
He was endorsed by President Trump previously. Are you going to seek to get President Trump to endorse you?
I'm going to be honest. No, I'm not going to.
Why?
Because getting an endorsement from President Trump.
I set you up for a yes. You should have said yes.
I know, but I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be an honest so-called politician, right? The problem in CD8 is that we're such a 50-50 split district that there are some people who are so anti-Trump they're insane, right? And the thing is, as a representative, I have to still represent the people that don't even vote for me.
Stop for a minute. Stop. I'm going to give you some advice on air, okay?
Okay.
Ready? 99% of the people out there, on the left and on the right. There are people on the right that don't like President Trump because they've read the same Kool-Aid and propaganda that the people on the left have read, right? They've created those little things. Just because you seek the endorsement and get the endorsement of President Trump for the people that do like him does not mean you will represent the people on the other side that are not represented by Trump any less fervently.
That's fair.
And the number of conversations I've had with Democrats that don't like me, I gave 2 interviews in the last 2 weeks, right? And they both said, I don't like you. And I was like, all right. He goes, but now I like you. Leftists, the people on the left that are hurting, they want a voice.
Yeah,
they don't care about President Trump endorsing him. And you know what President Trump cares about? He cares about those people. And you can say whatever you want, but here's a guy that in his private life never said a word. And when he saw someone hurting, he would walk over and say, I'm going to pay for your school. I'm going to buy you a car. I'm going to do these things. Didn't go on Oprah to do it, right?
Yeah.
So if you represent well the people that like Trump, the people that don't like Trump, that won't matter to them as long as you give them a seat at the table.
And that's kind of what I was getting at, right? Is that I want to represent everybody, and an endorsement from a politician, as great as President Trump is, love the guy, been to his house numerous times.
Then just say yes. Just say yes, I will seek it. Whether you say
yes,
no,
I will seek his
just say
endorsement
yes.
if he wants to give it to me.
If he wants to give it to damn it, you're going to try and get President Trump to endorse you because Gabe Evans has not done President Trump any favors.
Well, I was going to get to that. I mean, Gabe got his endorsement, let's be 100% factually honest. He got his endorsement back in April or May, and then immediately after that decided to work against the president's agenda on every single aspect.
Yeah.
He worked against him on the Dignity Act. He wants to declare amnesty for illegal immigrants in CD8. And I'll tell you, most of the legal immigrant and Hispanic families that I work with, they don't want that. They don't want that at all. Number two, he was against the Space Force move to Alabama, which if you actually go into the numbers, which I wrote an entire Substack article about this as well, it makes sense. And also, if none of our congressional members want to help military veterans now, and I've been the spearhead of that to literally give them a softball for their reelection campaigns, why would I want more service members in the state that are not going to be supported, right? And then right after that, he decided to be one of the only 4 Republicans in the entire state, or sorry, in the entire country that voted not to criminalize transgender surgery on children. So I'm surprised that President Trump hasn't rescinded his endorsement at this point.
I don't think he's paying attention to him. I think he's looking for someone to come along and represent the people better. But keep in mind, people that are propped up like Gabe and others. Mm-hmm. And look, I don't know him. He just wasn't my pick, right?
Well, I mean, you got to understand, like the NRCC is going to support incumbents at any point in time with Mike Johnson. That's just how it is. That's how Congress works, right?
So let me tell you what the comments say. So Ali says, which is why you get Trump to transfer the endorsement to you, dummy.
Yes, and
so just
I will take that with grace. Yes, I will seek President Trump's endorsement. Given the factors out now, but I'm just trying to be humble. I'm honestly trying to be humble. Like
that's not humble.
I'm trying
President Trump wants you to be. He wants you to be like. He wants you to look in the camera and be like this. Yes.
Yes, President Trump. If you would like to give me your endorsement to support CD8
stop.
Take Congress,
President Trump, I will earn your endorsement, and I want your endorsement. That's what you say to the camera.
President Trump, I will earn your endorsement and represent the American people in CD8 and hold your majority in Congress. That's my job. That's what I want to do.
See? So. Because look, who comes after President Trump?
I mean, tell me, you could say nobody and everybody at the same time, and you'd both be right.
Who's on deck?
For CD8? Or
who's on deck for president?
J.D. Vance is next, in my opinion.
Right, so who's on deck for president? I mean, look, J.D. Vance has stood strong in the Trump. He's been silent in certain areas.
Yeah.
But he's been loud in other areas. So he's done a pretty good job there. Mm-hmm. There's no one like President Trump that is on deck for the president of the United States.
Correct.
Do you know how scary it is to be in the position we're in right now?
We have to get the stuff done the next couple of years, because what's going to happen after 28?
We're done.
We're done.
We either solidify those things and create a new norm where the strength that President Trump exudes mm-hmm. is shared politically with an unselfish desire to serve the people.
Yes.
Or we are finished.
And this is why it's one of the reasons I'm running, is because this is the time. It's now. And also, this is why I've encouraged people to primary all the bad politicians in our state. If you want to run and you think you're a better candidate, you should be running and removing these people from office. We shouldn't let incumbents exist because they're incumbents.
Well, I mean, look, I'm running for governor, and frankly, there are some good candidates in the governor race.
Yeah.
Scott Bottoms is a good friend of mine. I love that man.
He did great at the governor's forum the other day.
I heard he crushed it.
He crushed Barb Kirkmeyer with a sledgehammer.
It wasn't even close.
I was there. I thoroughly enjoyed watching that. Even Jason did a great job, though, too.
Oh, he did?
Jason had some pretty good answers.
Yeah. What's Jason's last name?
Maskill, or Matt. He's the sheriff up in Teller County.
Oh. What about the other guy running for governor that is?
Well, I mean, there's 18 of you, so
Mark
or 20.
Something, I don't know. He came out when he says, call for violence and I'm a sissy. Hey, by the way, if you didn't know, Adam, I'm a sissy, right?
Oh, are you?
Yeah, that's what they said. That's what he said. I'm like, okay. Well, here's my office address. Yeah. I actually said it in there. I was like, come on over and have a talk with me, right?
Yeah.
Put your big boy pants on, boy.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's just, we have to pick the best people to do this job.
We do.
And that's why I said it's really time, especially for people our age, right? It's time for people to run and remove these people, right? We can't afford to lose any more ground than we have in Colorado if we want a chance of bringing back good conservative values. And even liberals who are reasonably, able to debate and have, answering questions and stuff. It's okay. We can all get along. We don't have to hate each other. You talk to people every day, and it's like what you see on the news is not reality. Just go down and start talking to people, and it's everyone
liberal
normally
and
gets
conservative.
along.
Man, let me just tell you something. My friends are both liberal and conservative. People are like, "How do you even associate with them?" And I was like, "They've been my friends for like 20 years. If I called them in the middle of the night and I was like, listen, I need you to bring a shovel." And you can't ever talk about what we did.
Whose car are we taking?
Yeah, that's a real, in my world, That's a real thing.
Yeah.
Right? I am my brother's keeper. And so that means more to me than any R. An R and a D has never done anything for my family. It's never done anything for our communities other than make things difficult.
I agree.
So I'm going to hold you hostage here for a minute.
Please do.
I got someone that is in your district,
Okay.
who I've had on this show before, that I asked to come on because the judiciary in our state is rotted.
Correct.
Right.
I had to deal with them.
To
10th
the
District
core.
Court. Whew.
But it's really bad. It's really, really, really bad.
Yeah.
Now I want to bring this up because, look, I'm an advocate for the people,
Yeah.
and it's been a couple years, and so let me just kind of tell you a little bit of the story. So Anthony Chavez had a 7-year-old son in 2022. In 2022, they had lifted the mask mandates for kids to go to school. He didn't want his son wearing a mask. I've never asked Anthony whether he liked or didn't like Trump. It never even occurred to me. What occurred to me is that what they did to this man is absolutely wrong. So if you go through the history of what happened to him, and you look at the article, which is Gateway Pundit. You guys have it? You guys have the Gateway Pundit article? Before I bring it on? Can you put it up, please, next to us? And Anthony, we're going to bring you on here in a second, but look, Anthony did what any father would do for their son.
Yeah.
And he stood up. And then the guards assaulted him. Then they arrested him. They assaulted him. I think they pepper sprayed him. I don't remember the entire thing, but I think they pepper sprayed him. They lied about it. They locked his son out of the gym and then locked the other kids in. Like, there's a lot that they did.
That's horrific.
And then they covered it up. And then he went to court. And you guys want to put the court thing up, please, for me real quick? No, the court. That's the give, send, go. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But the court thing up that I put in there, it's an actual document. He fought this for the last 3.5 years. And he went through the appeals process. And the court said, went all the way to the Colorado Supreme Court, they said, we're denying you the ability to get justice.
Sounds familiar. Sounds like something I went through.
With that said, Anthony, welcome to the show. Well, welcome with us.
Thank you, Joe. It's good to be with you again.
Brother, I forgot about all the conversation. I had to go back and listen to some of this before, but just give Adam an idea of what's going on with this, if you would.
So currently, I'm about a little less than 30 days away from the deadline to file my appeal to the Supreme Court of the United States after, as you said, the Supreme Court of Colorado denied my appeal. So it has been a long court battle, just even to get the appeal. My ability to appeal had to be appealed. It's the justice system, as Joe was saying, is rife with all types of corruption. So I have fought and fought and fought, similar to Joe. They ran me through court in 4 different courtrooms for 3 months with the same charge, same location, same time. But they mixed up the paperwork, and so I had to go to court 3 times a week to 3 different courts to answer the same trespassing charge that I was eventually convicted of, dropping my son off at school.
You were convicted of a trespassing charge. Did you get a jury?
I did.
And the jury said that you trespassed?
Correct. So they used a campus ban letter. The person who wrote the campus ban letter, the assistant principal, did not testify in court. Among other issues, they relied on this security guard's testimony in defense of this campus ban letter, which, the question remains still, who has the authority to write this campus ban letter, and who has the authority to enforce it? It's not illegal anything. I had the right to drop my son off and make sure that he got into school safe, and that's what I did.
So how do they? So this is Adam. This is what we get: the chicken and the egg. Before I get into that, Anthony, why are you still fighting? Why are you still fighting? Why not let it go?
So this has to do with parental rights. I invested 7 years in my son's literacy, and he was one of those reading age children that were not able to see the teacher's lips or face move. I learned sign language so that my son would talk faster as an infant, which led to faster speech, faster reading. I had 7 years invested in this portion of my son's life. They say that now the predictions are that this age group, this reading age group that missed this in important instruction, in literacy, will have the lower earning potential of $25,000 to $35,000 less a year because of this. And no one's talking about the damage that we did to our kids.
Anthony, tell me a little bit about your history. Did you have a great time growing up? Did you grow up in a middle-aged family, poor family, wealthy family?
Yeah, we were middle class kids. I was second to six, so I had a lot of responsibilities as an older sibling. To look after my other siblings and do what's right. That was a responsibility that we grew up with. We were feral, kids of the 80s, and so the moral compass, I think, amongst my peers is still intact because of, in large part, due to the way we grew up looking after each other and our neighborhood friends and our community.
So your education of your son's pretty important then.
Absolutely, it's the building blocks to success. Literacy is everything.
So Adam, the whole concept of this has been going on for 3 years. I mean, you could just let it go. I mean, Anthony, you could just let this go. You could just walk away. You lick your wounds, understand where you're sitting, but you're still fighting.
I think it's the accountability. It's more about accountability. I think at this point for most Americans, I think we all share a common frustration. We haven't seen any arrests yet. And we're being told these things are happening or they're getting to it. And similar to your conversation with Adam earlier, we have limited time, I think, to perfect these things in our society so that they never happen again. And I think holding people accountable, the authorities, accountable, is the only step that needs to be focused on at this point if we're going to build the future for our kids in this nation.
Adam, what do you say to him? I mean, I can give you more information, but what do you say to him?
I mean, Anthony, first of all, I just want to say I'm sorry for what happened to you. You and I have a similar situation. I fought the Air Force Academy, and you're fighting, these corrupt judges and stuff, and I had to deal with them in 10th District Court too. I wonder if we dealt with the same judges. I'm just thinking that in the back of my head. But the problem is that they're bought and sold out by the system. They're only going to do what's in their own best interest. And this is something that I'm going to advocate for you for as your next representative in CD8, right? Is that actually come to my office, let's sit down and talk, let's actually find you a pathway. And the way you circumvent the judicial, which is what I've been trying to do with the so-called DeRito Act, is legislatively, right? Is that if they're not going to give you justice for parental rights for your kids based upon some circumvented law that they're using to mismatch between accountability with these authorities, then we need to legislatively fix that. Even if it's like, we're passing this one-liner in this 1,500-page bill that we're going to pack through with a bunch of stuff, which is how they do things, and say, Anthony Chavez gets justice in this case between this state and this state, and the case is over. That's how they do it every single time. And I just want to fight for people like you because people like you matter. Like I said, the next generation of Americans, like your son, is what we're fighting for. I'm not fighting for all the people that have been in power for the last 20, 30 years. They had their chance. They had their chance to make our lives better. But the reason why you were subjected to that system is because of the systems those people put in place. So we need to dismantle those systems, you know, and I've made some friends in Congress over the last 10 years that we can probably build some allocation on, build some bills on, you know, and hold accountability. But like I said, if I become your next congressman, please reach out to me immediately, because I want to help you with whatever I can, because I know what you're going through.
In the meantime, we have to get you a lawyer in the next 30 days. And in order to get him a lawyer, we've got to figure out the organizations that we can connect him with. I thought about Heritage Foundation, and I thought, nah, they probably wouldn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's Erin for parental rights. We probably should connect her with Erin, because, you know,
Mm-hmm.
she's fighting some things.
Mm-hmm.
So when you reached out to me, the first thing I did is just started making phone calls, gathering information, and seeing what I can come up with. So we will get that for you. And in the meantime, we have a Give, Send, Go that you put up, correct? That you
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's put that up for a second.
That's how they get you every time. They try to bankrupt you into quitting.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's
That's what they do.
I mean,
They
this
did it
is-
to me. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
And look, so
Yeah.
here's, go ahead, sorry.
The immediate need, it's my understanding, is that this will be reviewed by the Supreme Court Justice, who happens to be Gorsuch. Underneath him, he is the one who reviews you know, cases that are sent. So at that point, you know, he'd make a decision if I'd have to, you know, have a retrial, or if it's going to be heard in front of the Supreme Court. So at the moment, I'm just looking to get this writ of Satoriari pushed forward and try and get to the finish line with this. But go ahead.
All right, so how do people find it? It's givesendgo.com/
SCOTUS appeal. SCOTUS appeal.
SCOTUS appeal. Okay.
SCOTUS appeal, yeah. SCOTUS appeal, yeah.
SCOTUSAPPEAL.
Correct.
All right. Patrick, make sure we give some money to this campaign. I'm asking everyone to drop a few dollars. If you're listening to this, it's givesendgo.com/ SCOTUS appeal. SCOTUSAPPEAL. Yeah, this is. How's your son doing?
His grades aren't on par, but I think that's what goes for most kids this age. You know, he's worked really hard to try and get back to grade level with literacy and reading and writing, and it's still something that it affects his confidence in school, because he is smart. So there are parts of trusting adults, I think, that he still struggles with.
Kids can see injustice; they can feel it too, right? Once they get into that system where the credibility starts lacking, they stop learning.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you know, hopefully you have those conversations with him. That just because you're dealing with a bad system doesn't mean that these are all bad people. You're going to eventually have to have that conversation with him, because it's going to affect him for the rest of his life. So you've got to give him a forgiving spirit, because I promise you, he probably has seen you go through things, and he's not all that forgiving, if I had to guess.
Yeah, and on above all, you know, he's thriving. You know, I think his ability to kind of learn and grow, his you know, the things that he's interested in. You know, he's been skateboarding a lot recently and going to the skate park. It's really important to learn how to, you know, do an ollie kick, and so I'm just supporting those things that he's interested in that are healthy. And you know, he picked up playing the violin recently, and he's
awesome.
Actually doing pretty well at it. So, you know, I'm just trying to support the things that he's interested in, and just be there for him. You know, it's just been him and I since he was 3 months old, and so we have a really close relationship, and he's pretty smart.
Awesome. Well, I want to say thank you for getting on. Thank you for continuing to fight.
Yeah.
It won't be the
Don't
last
ever
time
quit.
you hear from me. Drop your phone number inside of that X deal, because I don't have it. I look
Sure.
forward to try and ping you, so just drop that in there so I can stay connected with you, and then we'll get you connected. I'll actually go through some stuff with Adam.
Yeah.
I saw his eyes just go like this when you were talking. and I
Yeah,
was
just hey man, I'm gonna be honest. I know how you feel.
We got his number, Jeff.
Same situation, right? Just don't ever quit. Don't quit. I never quit, and you should never quit, because if you quit, then this is going to keep happening to people. You got to keep fighting. You got to be the plate carrier. And thank you so much for what you're doing, because it means a lot.
Thank you. I've done what I can. You know, the heavy lifting's done. We're at the door. We just got to walk through it. And I reached out to Joe, and thank you again, Joe. It means a lot to me to be on your platform and just get the message out. If anything, I can say that I did everything I could.
I am my brother's keeper, so I don't stop. And you reached out, and you know, so my job is to, you know, if we don't matter together, then nothing matters.
Yeah, and if I can help you breach the door with my team, if we get in, just give us a call. We'll blow it.
Got it. Sounds good, Adam. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate it again.
All right. God bless you, brother.
Thank you. I'm so grateful.
This is kind of what it's all about, right?
That's what it's all about.
And
That's it.
he's a great dude. And not only that, but he's a great father. And he's teaching his son that you can't quit.
And we need more fathers. You know, that's a big thing about American
And he's
society.
a single dad.
That's amazing.
Right?
That's very rare.
So he's fighting, he's standing, he's doing all the things that are necessary for his son. And you know, we more often than not, we find ourselves kind of giving up on the idea of, like, well, just let this one go, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to look at the battles differently. You have to look at the battles on who's watching, who's paying attention. And when your kids are paying attention, you should always pay attention.
Yeah, that's what we're here for.
I'm gonna really quickly, before I let you go, I want to answer a question. Maybe you can tell me if I'm doing this with beer goggles. But I made a and you guys need to cut this for me, please, so I can send this directly over. Whoops. Let me make sure that I got this right. So I talked before about a message that I got. And I want to list this message because I think it's important. But Mackenzie sent me a message, and she asked me. I'm going to put my glasses on for this. This is important. It might apply to you. It has to do more with state stuff, being the governor. But let me read it to you. There's 2 questions, and I didn't get a chance to write the question. So Mackenzie, I'm doing this now this way. Adam can give me his thoughts on whether or not he sees what I'm saying is legitimate to it, to what we're trying to do. Congratulations on your decision. In my opinion, my condolences, as you can't imagine what toll it will take to run with the ideology you have in this state. Such unfortunate times we live in. In lieu of your announcement for running, I, as a mother of 5, have some questions I'd love to hear your stance on. Feel free to make my questions public. I know a lot of parents that feel similarly, and we want to find the candidate that fits our families. I am in Jeffco, and while my kids are in private school, the big effect in Jeffco public has become a topic of national and international eye. How do you plan to address the public school system on a statewide level to ensure that our children are kept safe? Specifically speaking of things like girls in sports, restaurant or restroom usage, and overnight school events like choir, concerts, outdoor labs, and overnight sports events, where it has been addressed that individuals of different genders are allowed to bunk with the opposite gender. Question 2, as I stated, we are a private school family and not by choice. We were forced to go that route to withhold the indoctrination of our young daughters in public school. Do you have any intention of presenting a tax voucher or property tax credit for those who enroll in private schools? My final question, with the MAHA movement taking massive strides to ensure parent choice for children's health, do you have any intention of taking the steps to back down from Colorado's extensive vaccination mandates, as well as put a halt to any bills restricting parental rights in regards to genders of children? Thank you for your time.
Yeah, so absolutely no girls in sports. No boys in girls sports ever. I don't know why this is a debate. When I was a kid, this was never an issue. It doesn't make any sense. I've signed on to the Protect Our Kids Colorado petitions like over a year ago when they were handing those out before I even decided to run for politics. And number 2, we need to obviously encourage a school voucher program until we can get our public school system fixed. And until we start firing teachers that don't meet standards and holding those unions accountable to actual accreditation and actually teaching kids. And if I see one more pedophile in the state of Colorado that's assaulting kids, that's a teacher, I'm going to lose my mind.
How many do you think there's been just in the last?
I don't even, it's got to be over 5. I mean, like in the last 2 weeks.
What if I told you it's 14?
I would 100% agree with you. I'm just saying this is what I see, as I'm paying attention to. And obviously, I think Trump did an amazing thing where he got rid of the mandatory vaccine schedule, and I think that needs to apply here. Parental rights mean more than anything. If you're a parent, you know how to raise your kids the best, and we shouldn't be letting the government have overreach of taking away those rights for you. It's just common sense.
So I agree with everything that you just said. Now here's the, I'm going to take it one step further than that. Teachers unions have run amok on the state of Colorado. They have mandated and pushed down things onto the parents and then taken away the ability for the parents to fight against that system. Parents walk into the school with both hands tied behind their back, and as they even fight for their kids, they're having to do it by begging and pleading, even to remove books from libraries. That would be, that wouldn't pass the muster of being able to read, because they've stopped us from doing it, inside of a school board meeting or at a town council meeting. So I want to address this in a couple ways. One, I think you're right. Like if you decide that you want to be a girl and you're a boy and your parents push you in that direction, you are welcome to do that, but you get no special accompaniments. Right? If you look down and it swings, you're going in the boys' bathroom, and if you look down and it doesn't, you're going in the girls' bathroom. There will be no boys in girls' bathrooms at all, biologically or otherwise. It will not happen. That's number one. Number two, the way you ensure that you stop the indoctrination and the grooming inside the schools, which was not a part of Mackenzie's question, the pride flag will be completely eliminated and banned from any school in the state of Colorado. If I am the governor, there will be no pride flags. The only flag that will fly in the state, in a classroom in the state of Colorado, will be the Colorado flag and the United States flag. I will also reinstitute the idea that you must, mandated, in order to get funding from the state of Colorado, you must do the Pledge of Allegiance at the beginning of class from grade kindergarten all the way up till they graduate in 12th grade.
That's how I grew up.
But it's not the way it is now.
I know, it's crazy to me. It's insane.
So that's where you start. You start with the foundation. You start with the foundation of goodness. There will be no Satan's clubs in any one of the schools across Colorado. And this not a separation of church and state. That's all completely bunk. If the principles of the club that you're putting inside the school are based on evil or evil intentions, I don't actually care if you're the Church of Satan and you think that that's okay. I'm not instituting and or introducing evil to the school system inside and the kids inside the school. It is never going to happen. You say that it's our religion, great. Then go start your little school and you guys can have it over there. But the public school system will be based on the principles that this country was founded on, not on the idea that I have to give equal ground to Satanists that put God on the same level as Satan. That will never happen. Okay?
Well, and I think that people don't understand is like, be a well-read American, because the idea of separation of church and state came from a
letter.
From a letter that Thomas Jefferson wrote to another religious group.
The Supreme Court used it for a ruling. So shame on them.
In Trinity Church versus U.S., it was determined that we are in fact a Christian nation, and that's a Supreme Court ruling, right?
So the idea that you have to cow down to people that are trying to institute a principle into school to prove a point that they are atheists and that they don't want people learning about God because they don't want to learn about goodness. It does not hold water for me. No. And I actually don't care what those people say, right? I will make sure that the people inside of the state of Colorado, inside the school system, can concentrate on math, science, English. And by the way, if they want to pray in school and they want to pray on the football field, they will be allowed to pray on the football field, which, by the way, is another Supreme Court ruling based out of Oregon that says, yeah, if they want to pray with the kids and the kids want to know,
we did it every game.
So that's how I answer the first part. Second part is that I think that the vaccine mandates are absurd. And this scare tactic that they've created that says measles is making a comeback and it has this kid that is filled with measles from head to toe, that's not even real. Okay? That's an extreme case of something that does not exist across the entire country, or the entire world for that matter. And how do I know? Because I've been in the same environment where measles is happening over in Africa. I've seen it with my own eyes. And it's nothing related to what they're actually saying. So we're gonna put some mandates against big pharma. We're gonna allow parents to choose what vaccines they give their children. And frankly, this is going to make me an enemy of big pharma, and therefore an enemy of these people who think that you should be able to do forced vaccinations inside the schools. So we're going to give you back the power. Well, I think that the schools independently should be run by the parents, not by some group of people that are administrators that bark down orders about an ideology. It's got to go away.
I mean, look at Douglas County. Some of those school administrators are making over $300,000 a year.
$1 million.
Or even
The
more.
head administrator in the.
I was just doing it light, but it's
$1 million.
It's insane.
Yeah, the Douglas
insane.
County administrator's package is worth over $1 million a year.
But we can't afford to pay.
Superintendent.
And this is one of the reasons why we have bad teachers, honestly, and it's why we can't incentivize is because we can't pay good teacher salaries that incentivize good educators who want this to be their lifelong profession to stay here in the state. And they go elsewhere. So we get the best of the worst, and it needs to change.
Yeah. So the other thing comes down to property tax. I'm going to abolish property tax.
Thank God. That's oil and gas. We'll bring it back and pay it all off. Liquid gold will be the Alaska of the West, baby. That's my goal.
We shouldn't have property tax. You shouldn't have tollways.
No.
We should figure out a way to have a shrunk Colorado government that does not allow for them to interfere with the ability for parents to guide their children towards opportunity in the future. Mm-hmm. We will strip equity funding from schools. We will strip DEI from schools. We will fire every teacher that decides they would defy the mandates that get passed down by the governor's office that state you will not teach kids that being a white person is bad. Or and here so I can address the other side of black people saying, oh well, that's the only thing that gives me opportunity. Oh no. We will change the entire education environment that allows for good teachers to go into the Denver and Aurora and these areas, and we will equally fund those schools with opportunity that includes trade schools, that includes opportunities for recruitment out of those environments, because we're going to get rid of the social justice stuff, and we're actually going to focus in on making sure we're listening to the parents. Single parents, parents that are two-family homes, parents that are poor should have an equal voice
100%.
and what their kids are actually learning. Okay, so all that goes away. Last thing they said is vouchers. I don't think you should have to have a voucher, but if we're going to fund the public school system through the budget, that should allow for us to divert dollars. If you have a child and you pay state taxes, man, once we rethink how the budget is actually done and where we need to apply and use different funding mechanisms in order to make sure that we have proper educational funding environments, then we can also cut the fat.
Yeah.
And if we get rid of the teachers unions completely, they're going to hate me for this, get rid of the teachers unions and start teachers being based on the merit of, are they a good teacher or a bad teacher? And if they're a good teacher, they stay. If they're a bad teacher, their contract's not renewed, they get out. If they try indoctrinating people and putting up pride flags and running around with rainbows all over them so that they're a walking billboard for some sort of ideology, they're out. And if the principals and the people inside those schools want to try to alienate 90% of the schools so they can create some sort of mean girls club that tries to drag people in or groom them into an ideology or a sect, those people are out. You bully children, you're out. You bully parents, you're out. If you're a teacher that doesn't concentrate on math, science, English, the basics, you're out. You're out. Because the kids have an opportunity, and they should play dodgeball.
Dodgeball's great.
Have recess.
Teaches you resilience. Get hit in the face with a gator ball. You know,
Don't do that anymore.
It's like my gunnery sergeant when I was at Marine OCS. I'll never forget his name, Gunnery Sergeant Alessio. The one thing he said to me is, DeRito, I will never accept your mediocrity. And that's what the standard should be.
Yeah. Well, the problem is that kids don't have respect for the teachers.
No, they don't.
Inside the schools.
No.
And it's not, this is universal. This is if you're in Douglas County or if you're all the way down. These kids think that they can say and do whatever they want.
Yeah, it's a big problem in Commerce City right now, too.
So you just change the rules on them. It's really simple. You're getting the in-school suspension. You talk to the parents. You know what? You become stakeholders with their education with the parent.
Yeah, set the example for the children of our future. We can't have a bunch of milquetoast politicians or milquetoast teachers who are letting kids do whatever they want and develop their brain the way they want to because they're having free reign.
Well,
you know, my parents were good with that. They reined me in. So were my teachers. If we screwed up, you know, we felt it, right? But it's crazy to me, and I guess I'm old now. I guess I'm 38. But I mean, like, seeing the educational system change so drastically in this country is just bewildering to me.
Yeah.
And we need to bring it back.
So the answer is yes. School vouchers, no to vaccine mandates. And you could say, oh, you're anti-vaxxer. You know, if it wasn't for somebody in my life coming back and showing me information, I never would have understood the damage that was being done to children all over the country. The death and destruction to families, autism. You have people that have kids have autism. They get a vaccine on Tuesday. By Thursday, their child is nonverbal.
Mm-hmm.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So we want to do whatever we can to give parents the tools not to have to be worried about when they're gone, who's going to take care of their kids.
Yeah.
Because we have an entire generation of kids that frankly cannot function.
Mm-hmm.
And the parents are aging out.
Yeah.
So what are we going to do to them? What are we going to do to those kids?
Yeah.
We don't have the facilities for them. So I think we need to rein in big pharma, get rid of psychotropic drugs,
Mm-hmm.
start severely limiting the lobbyist groups inside the state of Colorado, and give a voice back to the parents.
Yes.
The parents should be the ones that are actually running the show. The
agree.
people of, for, and by the people. How is that even a thing if parents are running away from it and having to use outside education systems like homeschooling and so forth just to get to a place where they can protect their children from some of the most basic evil that we can see with our own eyes?
I agree.
All right, Adam, I don't know if you want to do this, but we usually pray it out at the end. Do you want to pray out at the end, or you want me to pray it out?
I'm an unapologetic conservative Catholic. Let's
All
go.
right, so I want to hand it over to Adam. Adam, thanks for showing up.
I appreciate you.
I know I kind of held you hostage. I told you better ask for President Trump's endorsement, and we talked about a bunch of cool things here.
Yeah.
But I do want to tell you guys all, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and more. Make sure you give us a 5-star review. Leave the thumbs up on your way out, and follow Adam. Adam, tell them really quick how they can go support
Yeah,
you.
Instagram is adam.DeRito2010, and please visit DeRito for Congress, DERITO for Congress.com. Support me. I'm not supported by Big Pharma or special interest groups, and we're going to need the grassroots effort to remove Gabe Evans from office and take back CD8.
All right, awesome. Ready to pray us out?
Yeah, I am.
Right.
Holy Father, thank you so much for allowing us to speak our minds and in your truth, absolutely, in your Son's good name. Without you and your guidance, we can not defer evil as much as we can in the state of Colorado. I pray that you allow the people of the state of Colorado to elect the right politicians and the right leaders to give our children a future, to give our state a future, to ensure that we reduce corruption and eliminate evil from your world. In your name, amen.
Amen. All right, hey, listen, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. It's great to have you on, Adam. Great for being in the studio.
Yeah.
I will be out of the studio. I am going to do some training, so I will be out doing stuff tomorrow, but I will be, you'll see me tomorrow, though, on the show. Remember to pray it up, and, oh, no, I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. I need to tell you guys about something that happened. I woke up to this morning. Scott Adams passed away this morning. He left a letter behind that his wife read. If you didn't go through, and if you don't know who Scott Adams is, he's the Dilbert, the Dilbert comics. Very well known. And he fought cancer. He fought bravely for a long time. And but he read this letter, and I think we should read this letter. Scott was a good man. He stood side by side with President Trump. He was a Democrat, but he was a guy that understood what President Trump was trying to accomplish. And this is, so I'm not going to come back after this. I'm going to play this, and then we'll go straight to my song. And tomorrow we'll have a list of events that I'm going to be at, so we can keep you informed so you can be there, right? And that Adam will be at as well, because he's at one of them for me.
Yeah, and I'll actually be at the Copper Rail tonight in Brighton for people who want to go meet up.
Awesome. All right, so check this out. This is Shelley Miles reading Scott's final letter. And just before he was scheduled to go on the show this morning, he passed away. He didn't make it, but he had these words. Let's play it.
Hi, everyone. Unfortunately, this isn't good news. Of course, he waited till just before the show started, but he's not with us right anymore. I'm going to try to get through this. He has a final message that he wanted to say, so I'm going to try to read it, trying to be strong. If you are reading this, things did not go well for me. I have a few things to say before I go. My body failed before my brain. I am of sound mind as I write this January 1st, 2026. If you wonder about any of my choices for my estate or anything else, please know I'm free of any coercion or inappropriate influence of any sort. I promise. Next, many of my Christian friends have asked me to find Jesus before I go. I'm not a believer, but I have to admit the risk-reward calculation for doing so looks so attractive to me. So here I go. I accept Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior and look forward to spending an eternity with him. The part about me not being a believer should be quite quickly resolved if I wake up in heaven. I won't need any more convincing than that. I hope I'm still qualified for entry. With your permission, I'd like to explain my life.
Are you ready for this?
For the first part of my life,
Are you ready?
I was focused on making myself.
Well, I hope so. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Coffee with Scott Adams, the best thing that ever happened to you. But if you'd like to take it up to
rising from the fight for the forgotten and the free, exposing rigged machines, Kuma's lies, Dominion's deceit, pays a grand each day, shielding truth from corrupt halls, but he won't back down, standing tall through it all. Martin, Tina Peters break the chains that bind her tight, hand count votes and one day bring the fraud to light. No more mailing scams, no machines to steal the night, restore the people's voice, make Colorado right. Governor Oltmann, lead us bold and true, badass for the have-nots, fighting through and through. Abolish property tax, cut the tolls away, shrink the bloated state, let the people have their say. It's our rally call, truth and freedom rise and watch the tyrants fall. Untamed Colorado, strong and proud, we'll be one man for the people, set our great state free. Help the single moms, bring back trade school strong, opportunity for youth, where the brave belong. Audit every NGO, ban the wolves that roam, reclaim our stolen land, bring the power home. Eric Kuma's fraud, Dominion's rigged design, expose the stolen votes, cross the dangerous line. No more victimhood, no chains on you and me. He's running for governor for real liberty. Smash the fraud machine, pardon heroes jailed for the have-nots. Rising truth will never fail. One warrior defies the corrupt elite. Colorado reborn, strong on our feet. Governor Oltmann, lead us bold and true, badass for the have-nots, fighting through and through. Abolish property tax, cut the tolls away, shrink the bloated state, let the people have the say. Governor Oltmann, it's our rally call, truth and freedom rise and watch the tyrants fall. Untamed Colorado, strong and proud, we'll be one man for the people, set our just, bold and true. Governor, freedom forever, Colorado. Rise up untamed, in the heart of the fire where the wild ones roam. Joe Oltmann's calling, bringing truth back home. From conservative daily to this untamed fire, we shatter the silence, lifting spirits higher. No chains can hold us, no lies can prevail. Authentic and fearless on this rugged trail. Patriots gather under stars and stripes. Untamed nation, igniting the night. Untamed nation, let the truth roll out in this land of the free. Standing proud from sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Catch the fire, wear the crown. Untamed nation, it's our battle song, motivating hearts where the brave belong. Yeah, untamed and wild, forever strong. Play it again all night long. Break the mold, chase the real. No more games, time to heal. Joe's voice leads the untamed crew. Truth matters through and through. Untamed nation, let the truth roll out in this land of the free. Standing proud from sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Catch the fire, wear the crown. Tame nation, it's our battle song, motivating hearts where the brave belong. Yeah, untamed and wild, forever